That promo is not accurate anymore. It's not just Dan and Lap. Sorry. Tell that dude with that voice he's got to recut that thing. It probably airs again later on this hour, so he's got to hurry. Good afternoon. I'm Mo Egger. This is ESPN 1530. Thank you very much for listening. I hope, in all sincerity, because I have been told sometimes I sound like I lack sincerity. We're at the Cincinnati Open, and we're going to get to that in a second. 24 hours ago, while we were on the air, all hell was breaking loose with the weather in greater Cincinnati, and it's not exactly nice today. It doesn't seem as severe as it was yesterday. And I said this to Tony and Austin on Cincy 360. Sometimes when you're in a radio studio and you're doing sports, you kind of lose sight of some of the stuff that's happening in the real world, and that's maybe I don't know, an indictment against me. There have been lots of times where, like, I'm in my little sports bubble for 3 hours and something huge is happening in the news, and I have to get caught up at 6 o'clock. While we were on the air yesterday, it was abundantly clear because of EAS alerts and what we saw on television that weather was wreaking havoc across the tri-state area. And then I got home last night, and I saw that like 150,000 people were without power. We fortunately were not among them. And then I had to run some errands on the west side of Cincinnati with my daughter this morning, and I'm driving through some neighborhoods, and there's trees down, and the damage to homes that I saw seemed minimal. But that's easy for me to say because none of those were my homes. So if you incurred any storm damage, hopefully everybody's cool, everybody's fine. And safe, and a busted fence or a busted roof can be fixed, but that doesn't mean it's not a pain in the neck as it happens. And so hopefully you were safe. Hopefully all is good from that perspective. We're broadcasting from one of my favorite events. This is a tentpole event on the Cincinnati sports calendar, the Cincinnati Open. World-class tennis. They've made this tournament bigger and better and longer, and we have the men's side and the women's side. Unfortunately, we don't really have tennis today because here in the Mason area, it has rained nonstop pretty much all day, as it has, I believe, throughout much of Cincinnati. And so the gates are not open, but we're broadcasting from this top deck bar. There's a bar right next to us. Nobody is manning it right now, but it would be great if they would, and I'd have a cold one. But, maybe that's something we can explore a little bit later on. But number one, we thank the folks at the Cincinnati Open for hosting us. They are extraordinarily hospitable. Today is an unfortunate day for them because there is no tennis today, but over the next week and a half, you're going to have world-class tennis. And this is, I always say, this is a great event, even if you're not a hardcore tennis fan, right? Or maybe you like tennis and you follow the sport, watch hours and hours and hours of tennis, watch a game, watch a set, watch a match, then post up at one of the, bars, eating establishments. There's tons to do. I also say this every year. I went to the U.S. Open in New York in 2012. That was the year I decided I'm crossing stuff off my bucket list. And the first one I did was the U.S. Open. I'm wearing the jacket I got at the U.S. Open 14 years ago, and it was awesome. This event is better. The layout is fan-friendlier. It's easier to get to. Normally, it's very easy to get to, but it's easy to get to right off I-71, across I-71 from Kings Island, and you meet people from around the world. You meet people who come to this event from other parts of the world, and they also go to the U.S. Open, and they kind of make their holiday, if you will, a trip to the U.S. to watch some tennis. And so we love this event. Unfortunately, the weather is not cooperating, but over the next week and a half, if you can get up here, especially if you've never been, I'm telling you, you will love it. I've come to this event, and I'm a casual tennis fan. And when I say casual, tennis and hockey are the two sports where, like, if I chime in with a take, a hardcore fan will yell at me. So I'm like sometimes uncomfortable talking about tennis. But I'm a big fan of Ben Shelton, who's been on this show. I'm a big fan of Madison Keys, who's had an okay year in the Grand Slams, won the Australian at the beginning of 2025, had gone through a lot of injury setbacks and majors. So both those players participating in this event. But I've brought people to this event who aren't hardcore tennis fans, and every single time they're like, dude, I had no idea. That is awesome. So if you can get up here because it is terrific. We have a lot to get to. Reds win last night. Bengals have a preseason game tomorrow. Tony Pike is going to join us in 35 minutes with the first of 3 live training camp reports. Here's how dedicated he is to his job. There is no training camp today, yet he's going to give us live training camp reports. And this is why we saw today that Tony has added to his responsibilities the duties of being an analyst on the Bengals radio network. The Bengals announced this about 40 minutes ago that Tony is going to be joining Dan Hort and Dave Lapham in the Bengals radio network booth starting tomorrow night. And he's also going to be involved with Bengals Line with Lance, and they're expanding their coverage during the week. Joe Daneman is going to join Dan for that Bengals pep rally show that gives me Fridays off in the fall. Joe is the best, the dean of Cincinnati television sportscasters. I say it all the time. His and Fox 19's Friday night high school football show is the gold standard for anything produced on television in Cincinnati sports. But Tony's my guy, and I mean this sincerely. I'm thrilled for him. I know how much this opportunity means to him, and I know how much he's going to kill it. I feel like we've spent a lot of time over the last year or so having to say a bunch of really nice things about Tony because either he goes into the UC Hall of Fame or he gets fired or he gets rehired or he assumes the responsibilities of the late, great Jim Kelly in the UC broadcast booth, or now working with Dan Hort and Dave Lapham. And Dan and Lap are the best. Dan Hort, I mean, what else can you say? He's an amazing college basketball broadcaster. He's an amazing college football broadcaster. He was a terrific television sportscaster. And he's obviously incredible as the radio voice of the Bengals. And so Dan could do the games by himself, and they would be terrific. And then, there's Dave Lapham. Dave Lapham, who, Alan Cutler years ago gave him the nickname Mr. Bengal because that's what he is. His association with the franchise goes back, 52 years now. He was a good player, played in a Super Bowl, and especially for those of us who are old enough to remember what it was like when we had blackouts. And if they were at home and they weren't on TV and you didn't have a ticket to the game, your only way of consuming the Bengals was the radio. And I remember during the 90s, I have money to go to Bengals games as a high school kid and a college kid. When they were on TV, yeah, maybe I wasn't quite listening to Lap or whoever his play-by-play guy was, but when they were at home, I had to listen to Dave Lapham. And those were years where it kind of felt like you didn't have many allies if you were a Bengals fan, but you had one in Dave Lapham. And so I have revered Dave Lapham since I was a kid. And obviously I hold Dan Hort in extraordinary esteem. But to take those two and pair them together, which they did 15 years ago, it's an amazing radio broadcast. The only way you could conceivably make that radio broadcast better would be if you added somebody like Tony Pike. And I know I said this a few minutes ago when he was here. We added Tony to UC radio broadcast on the sideline on a full-time basis. I think it was 2015 because Tommy G had been the sideline guy for a while. And before him, Scott Springer, and both did a terrific job. We added Tony in a different perspective as a former player or quarterback, somebody on the field who was going to provide maybe a little bit more in the way of analysis than reporting. But I remember his first game, and it might have been before 2015, but his first game was at UConn at Rentschler Field. Weather was like it is today. Rentschler Field is one of the 4 or 5 most miserable places I've ever seen a sporting event at. And Tony was on the sideline, and I think with no prior broadcast experience, we throw it down to him, and it was instantly clear that he was a natural. When it comes to breaking down football, talking about football, explaining in terms that the listener could understand, here's what's going on. And so I remember that day thinking, like, this guy's got a future. I didn't know it would turn into doing a talk show. I didn't know it would turn into the things that it is turned into. But, he got thrust into and it was extraordinarily unfortunate, obviously. We lost Jim Kelly early during the football season last year. Jim passed away in late September, early October. And after a handful of games, Jim stepped away. Tony stepped into that seat next to Dan for UC broadcast. And it was like, yep, okay, this is exactly how I thought he would do. He was and is a natural. And so it's just made sense. I not that I've ever thought, God, they're going to ask Tony to join Dan and Lamp in the broadcast booth, but he's awesome at that. And as a listener, as a Bengals fan, as a radio nerd, and as a friend of Tony Pike's, I could not be happier for him, and he's absolutely going to kill it. So by all means, reach out to Tony on social media, and many have already, and say a word of congratulations to him, because this is an opportunity extraordinarily well-deserved, and it's one that I am sure he is going to take full advantage of. 16 after 3. Now, that means I just said like 6 minutes worth of nice things about Tony. When he joins me in about 30 minutes, we could talk about the game tomorrow, right? Like, we don't know. Congratulations. We got 3 training camp updates. Congrats, Tony, yet again. You're the man, Anyway, in all seriousness, congrats to Tony, and congrats to Joe Danneman, the dean of Cincinnati Sportscasters, for expanding his responsibilities with Fox 19 and their partnership with the Bengals. Here, we're at the Cincinnati Open. We have a lot of great. Austin Elmore is still sitting here. Sometimes like you'll meet people in the business, and you'll do a show somewhere, and somebody will just sort of loiter, and you finally say to him, like, "Oh, you want to come on?" I think that's what Austin's doing. So, hell, we'll visit with him next. Why not, right? We don't have any tennis players to talk to. It's 16, 17 minutes now after 3 o'clock. We're at the Cincinnati Open, day before the Bengals take on the Detroit Lions. Don't forget our pregame coverage starts with pregame sports talk at 3 o'clock. I'm doing it from the stadium tomorrow. Not a press release for that. Mo's going to be broadcasting his show from our booth. No. Tony and Joe get all the glory. 17 minutes. I'm joking. 17 minutes after 3 o'clock. We're at the Cincinnati Open. This is ESPN 1530, Cincinnati Sports Station.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Traffic on Ronald Reagan Highway, eastbound at 71, right lane blocked with the accident. 275 eastbound on ramp from northbound 71. The crash here has police and emergency crews on the scene. Accident on the exit ramp of 71 northbound. The off-ramp to Norwood Lateral taking up the right lane. I'm Rick Schrepp with traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it in and get a quote in minutes. Plus, access thousands of products beyond what's in store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Mo Egger here. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much cash you can get right now. 513-800-1550. That's 513-800-1550. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
You'll feel the booming in your chest, hear every detonation rip open the sky, and have an up-close view of every fiery blast when we post you up in the front row for the 50th Western and Southern WEBN fireworks, September 6th. You could win a pair of these priceless VIP seats thanks to Postman Law and experience the most explosive moment of your life. Imagine the two of you being in the front row for the 50th Western and Southern WEBN fireworks. Win on air or register online now at ESPN1530.com.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. I'm not exactly great with apologies. After our last argument, I tried saying I'm sorry about 10 different ways, and none of them worked. So I went to Smile Tunes instead. I turned our story into a soulful love song that admitted she was right. Mostly. By the second chorus, she was laughing. By the end of the song, we were ordering takeout together. Turns out a custom song says what I couldn't. Visit smiletunes.com and create a personalized song that gets you out of the doghouse in style.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. If you want to save Mo money on insurance, United Heartland Insurance, in partnership with auto owners, is about to change your life. I'm talking saving so good you'll scream, Mo money, out your car window like you just won the lottery. Your neighbors are going to worry, but you're not going to care because you're saving money. United Heartland Insurance and auto owners gives you great rates, real service, and zero nonsense. No jingles or mascots, just pure, glorious Cincinnati-style savings. UHINS.com. That's UHINS.com.
Ice Cube's Big 3 season is heating up, and it all comes down to this. The Big 3 playoffs are coming to Dallas, Texas. The 4 best teams in the Big 3 battle it out for a spot in the championship. The action starts with the legendary Big 3 Celebrity Game. 3 games of the most physical, competitive, and nonstop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Yay, yay!
No one covers the Bengals training camp like the official home of the Bengals. ESPN 1530, Cincinnati Sports Station.
22 minutes after 3 o'clock. This is ESPN 1530. I'm Mo Egger, broadcasting today from the Cincinnati Open here in rainy Mason. There's no tennis happening right now, but, there's a radio show, and I think that's really the highlight of the experience for the folks who volunteer at this event. Cincy 360 was broadcast from here, and I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to walk in the rain or if it's because he has something to say. Austin Elmore is still here, and figured we'd put him to work.
Well, the thing about the Cincinnati Open is you get to see greatness up close.
Yeah.
And when I saw you sit down and put on the headset, I was like, this is why people come to Mason.
It is,
to
yes.
see greatness up close. And so that, and I also was hungry, so I got some food and didn't want to eat in the rain.
Fair.
So I'm still here.
Yeah.
And you said, do you want to talk to me?
Yeah.
And the answer to that is always yes.
That's when I was in the market for a girlfriend.
Right.
That's what I would say.
Sit around and say, do you want to talk to
Do
me?
you want to talk to me? Usually the answer is not what you gave me.
Yeah.
Is this your first time here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Walking in this morning was the first time I've ever been close.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool. And obviously there's nobody here, but it's easy to see why people rave about it, even with nobody here.
Mm-hmm. You got to come back. You got to come back on a day where you don't have to work and where you could just walk the grounds, get something to eat. And some of the side courts here, you could just here where we are, center court, assigned seating.
Mm-hmm.
But you go to some of these other grandstand courts or whatever, just walk in, find a place to plop down and enjoy yourself.
Everyone tells me it's a sport that is similar to soccer, whereas you don't really appreciate it until you see it in person.
Yeah.
And that's, I would love, obviously, to experience that. So I'll definitely be back. I may come back this weekend or next week or whatever it might be. So, yeah.
Yeah, you got to come back. Well, that's good. How about our guy?
Fired up.
Why don't you say some nice things about him?
I love Tony. And as I told him on the air, he's been through a lot of crap over the last several months.
Yeah.
And needed a win, and he's so good at this.
Yes.
I think it's what he's best at. I've told him that. And as somebody who, much like him, has grown up listening to the radio broadcasts their whole life, and I remember a game that Brad Johansson and Dave Lapham did, I think against the Tennessee Titans, that I was listening to with my dad in the car, and it just instantly made me fall in love with sports on the radio.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in this town think of that as the Reds and Marty and Joe, and I get that. But for me, it was that moment listening to a Bengals-Titans game. And so it means a lot to me. And so seeing him, and much like you said, when he filled in last year and stepped in at UC, it was just it's not supposed to be that easy.
No.
And
no.
He and Dan, it was like they'd worked together forever. And so their chemistry is obviously really good, which I think will go well into what Dan and Lap already have. And so I'm so proud of him.
Yes.
And he deserves it, and I know he'll make the most of it.
He's going to make the most of it. He's going to make a great broadcast already even better. I do hope whoever is producing the games compiles somewhat of a blooper reel for us that we could use on Mondays.
Yeah, the big thing will be, and I don't know if I try to tell Tony a lot. There's words that he doesn't know how to pronounce. There's words that he doesn't know what they mean.
Me too.
He just kind of throws them out there. And I try to help him. And I don't think he wants my help anymore. So this now falls on Dan Horde. And so it'll mean a lot coming from Dan.
I think he'll be in pretty good hands.
So Dan can handle that from here on out.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I know Taryn does a lot of our Bengals games. Taryn is smart. He'll have
He's
a
in
blooper
charge.
reel ready for us.
Yes, we're definitely we're definitely going to need it. What are you excited about for the big football game tomorrow that you'll be on until I think about 3:30 in the morning talking about
11:30 p.m. until 1:30 a.m.
All right.
So really not bad at all.
No.
What am I most excited about?
Yeah.
I'm most excited about what the Bengals actually run on offense.
Yeah.
Because we know that the whole shotgun and it's fine and do this and do that thing, and that's cool. But at the same time, it's like they've been emphasizing this new part of their offense. Are they actually going to run that? Because they haven't run it very well.
Right.
And are they going to do it? Now, they're probably going to go up with second, third team of the Detroit Lions. But also it's like, how important is it to run those schemes and those motions and those run, especially the run plays against a different team and a specific look, and what can you glean from that while also trying to protect your quarterback?
Yeah.
Which is we talk about everything. It's still the most important thing.
No doubt. I feel similarly because I feel like a lot of times in sports, what are themes of the preseason? Like you'll hear it in baseball sometimes. Oh, we're going to run. Mm-hmm. We're gonna steal a lot of bases, and the games start. Not really.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have one closer. We're gonna have bullpen by committee, and the game start, and Emilio Burnett, right? Yeah. So, and football is similar as far as we're gonna go really up tempo, and the game start. It's like, they're still huddling, and so I do wonder if some of the things we have seen in training camp are going to be what we see once September gets here, and maybe a good glimpse into that answer is going to be tomorrow night.
The other thing for me, yesterday when Zach talked, he said he was asked to describe camp, and he said physical. That's not a word you would use to describe Bengals training camp for most of his tenure.
No.
And I think he's trying to find the middle ground between who he was at the beginning and who Dan Campbell is with the Detroit Lions. The Lions are tackling. They're bringing people to the ground.
Right.
They're one of the most physical teams in football. They're also one of the most hurt teams in football for the last 3 years.
Right.
And so I think Zach is trying to find the middle ground. And is it the Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan till you get punched in the face? Well, let's see. Are the Bengals actually physical? Can they take it to a team who prides themselves on physicality? And obviously not just the starters, but the whole team. Can they be physical? And I think that's important for this team.
I think if you're going to do a Mike Tyson quote, you have to do it in a Mike Tyson voice.
I'm not very good at that. Let's see. That's the best I got. It's not very good.
That's pretty good. That was better than I could do.
But like this, I don't know. It sound like Bugs Bunny.
That was better than
Daffy
anything
Duck.
I have. Here's what I am most interested in during the preseason. Everything is going well. See, this is the glass half empty part. Mm-hmm. Everything is going well. It's been an awesome offseason. The vibes are great. So far, they've gotten through training camp, I think, with minimal injury issues. There's still a lot of time between now and is it 13th? Well, 13th
September 13th.
September
yes.
13th. I mean, a month. We're a month away. Mm-hmm. Still a lot that can happen. In the preseason, the period that is most likely to have something happen are those games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And that is 40-plus years of me rooting for this franchise. That's, whatever it is. Everything is so good right now. The vibes are great. You and Tony were talking about the connectivity, the messaging from the players, the health, the continuity. What happens over the next month that pours cold water all over it? So I just want to hit the fast forward button.
From Ken Griffey Jr. to Carson Palmer to Hunter Green, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
I hate that about us,
but
it's a part of our story.
Stuff will regular season. Yeah. Fine. Like that's the beauty of sports is how do you overcome the stuff that happens in the regular season? We're almost to September 13th, right? Mm-hmm. This long off season of positive news, no distractions, no contract ugliness. Everything's been great. Are things still going to be great at 1 o'clock on Sunday, September the 13th?
What happens when the you-know-what hits the fan? How do they react?
Yeah.
And so, and that's why part of me kind of wants to see the physicality of the Lions. Even though this game means nothing, that can still set a tone for the rest of your preseason. And there have been plenty of coaches that have been angry with the way that their teams have played in preseason games.
Yeah.
And it might be a reflection of things they need to change or fix. But, yeah, I hate it because you do always think that way, like something bad's going to happen. How do we react to it? But that is life, and that's sports, and it's football in this town.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you're probably not going to get to see any tennis today.
That's all right. You know, I was here. I gave everything I had.
You did.
And at the end of the day, effort it can't be questioned.
From you?
At all.
Without question.
Yeah.
From me? Every single day.
I don't know. The veracity with you came up this flight of stairs earlier.
I came in hot.
Yeah.
I came in.
And that, to me, that was the physicality. You
I came
threw
in
the
hot.
umbrella down. You set the tone.
I came in.
For the next 3.5 hours.
Little aggressive.
That's all right. I don't have too much time left. I got to catch a bus. So, I don't know how much time you have.
Austin, thank you. Sports headlines are next. We're broadcasting from the Cincinnati Open today. By the way, yes, we're doing the show on Twitter. You can watch it and YouTube as well. There you go. This is ESPN 1530 Cincinnati Sports Station.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Accident on 71 northbound off-ramp to Norwood. Lateral takes up the right lane and police on the scene. 275 eastbound on-ramp from 71. The crash here on the ramp with police and emergency crews. Ronald Reagan Highway eastbound at 71 has cleared. Now, we do have, again, the number of roadways shut down because of yesterday's storms. That includes 8 Mile between Kellogg and Hopper. I'm Rick Shrimp with traffic.
This report is sponsored by Miami Valley Gaming.
Get to Miami Valley Gaming August 29th for your chance to win a Ford F-150 or $35,000 in cash.
Must be 21. Ohio Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-589-9966 or visit fort.ohio.gov. Ready to take a break? Visit timeoutohio.com.
Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-IHEART.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
You don't pay for iHeartRadio. Our advertisers do. That's why it's always been and always will be 100% free. Radio, music, podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. FanDuel is giving new customers up to $1,000 in bet resets. Here's how it works. Bet $5 daily and unlock $200 in bet resets every day. That's right. New customers can place a $5 bet each day and receive up to $200 in bet resets, up to $1,000 total. And with baseball on every day, there's always another game or another matchup and another chance to get in on the action. So whether you're betting money lines, player props, or same-game parlays, FanDuel's got you covered. Place your $5 bet and unlock up to $1,000 in bet resets. Just go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, your home for home runs. 21 plus and present in Ohio. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Minimum $5 wager required for 5 consecutive days. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bet reset tokens. Refund from token issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $200 per day. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET. When your joints hurt every day and you've been told you need surgery, you got to do your homework, because remember, once a joint is replaced, there's no going back. Hi, it's Mo Egger. Before you schedule surgery, consider a second opinion from QC Kinetics. Whether you're dealing with pain from bone-on-bone arthritis or a torn meniscus or years of wear and tear, surgery isn't the only conversation you should have. Talk to the medical team at QC Kinetics about how they use regenerative treatments to deliver relief to patients like you here in Greater Cincinnati. If you're a good candidate, They'll concentrate tiny healing tools within your body right in the spot that's actually causing the pain, with the whole idea being to give you a real shot at holding off on surgery, or in some cases, avoiding it altogether. You got to explore every option. Don't just accept that surgery is your only choice. And at QC Kinetics, the consultation is free. So call 513-847-0019, 513-847-0019, 513-847-0019.
At Nixco Plumbing, we show up ready with solutions, not guesses. From tough clogs to everyday repairs, you get the honest, expert service you deserve. Schedule today at nixcoplumbing.com. Choose a pro. Choose Nixco.
In this edition of the Marketers Report, Kelsey Agostinelli, Vice President of Marketing Operations for Mars, talks about the mindset of the listener.
When you're listening to audio, a lot of times you're really tuning into the messages you're looking for, the music you're listening for, or the podcast you're listening for. So that captive, selective audience is special.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live events, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory. It's bold. It's flavorful.
Our faves are back. High five, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Touchdown! Bengals! It's the first game of the preseason, and the Bengals are looking to start fast. To do it, they need to defeat Detroit. Can the Orange and Black tame the Lions? Get the call live from Dan Hort and Dave Lapham. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Stream for free on the new and improved iHeartRadio app or ESPN 1530, the official home of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Has Deep Voice Guy gotten the memo? It's not just Dan and Lapp anymore. Can we shoot him a note? Tell him. Got to update the promo. Sports headline service of Kelsey Chevrolet, home of lifetime powertrain protection and guaranteed credit approval from their family to yours for life. KelseyChev.com. Bengals not practicing today because they have a football game tomorrow. Bengals and Lions at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening from the venue originally known as Paul Brown Stadium. Pregame coverage starts at 3 o'clock, countdown to kickoff at 5:30. But despite the fact that it's kind of an inactive day on the field for the Bengals, they have made a pretty significant announcement that they are adding Tony Pike to their radio team along with Dan Hord and Dave Lapham. Tony will also be a part of Bengals Line with Lance. And our buddy Joe Danneman from Fox 19 also being seeing an expansion of his role with the Bengals and Fox 19. He's going to be a part of the Pep Rally show, which airs on ESPN 1530 Fridays between 3 and 6. Meanwhile, tonight on the south side of Chicago, Reds and White Sox continue their 3-game series after last night's. It was a fun ball game last night, which we'll spend a little bit more time on here in a second. After last night's come-from-behind win over the Sox, Brett Lauder throws against old friend Luis Castillo. 7:40 tonight, 700 WLW. Reds will start play tonight, 5.5 games out of the last wild card spot. Florence will host Lake Erie tonight. And best of luck to the Hamilton Westside All-Stars. Little League Baseball, a berth in the Little League World Series up for grabs tonight as Hamilton Westside takes on Kentucky's North Oldham. I think when you watch those games on TV, it just says like Ohio versus Kentucky. It's North Oldham. This in the Great Lakes Regional Championship game, a berth in Williamsport up for grabs. I caught – these two teams played a few days ago, and, I admit, I don't really watch a lot of Little League baseball. But the Hamilton Westside All-Stars, that is a juggernaut. It feels like they're, if not in the College World Series, at least playing for a berth in the College World Series almost every single year. And so I do, check in to see how they're doing. And so I think this was Monday night, might have been Sunday. It was 10-3. And one of the plays in that game, they went to replay. Do we need replay in Little League Baseball? I don't really believe we need it in professional baseball, but, that's That toothpaste ain't being put back in the tube. Do we need replay? That might be the poll question today. What the hell? Do we need replay in Little League Baseball? Making myself a note. The Cincinnati Open, we're broadcasting from the Cincinnati Open. And right now here in Mason, the site remains closed. The latest announcement said that play is not going to begin before 4 o'clock. That's 20 minutes away, and it is still raining. So the grounds are closed, but we'll keep you up to date. Hopefully they can get some tennis in tonight. 20 minutes away from 4 o'clock. Chicago White Sox made some mistakes last night, and the Reds pounced, and that's what you have to do. They strung together some hits. They played little ball. They found ways to score involving methods that don't involve the home run. And if you look at the line score, you're not going to be impressed with how Nick Lodolo pitched last night. He gave up the 3 homers. He gave up the 2-out hit that brought Chicago's 4th run to the plate. And frankly, with the way the Reds have been hitting, 4-0 felt like 14-0 last night. But if there was one takeaway from Nick Lodolo's start, it's that his breaking ball actually looked really, really good. And that matters because he's been experimenting with a new grip because of all the blisters that he's had. That's significant because, look, let's be honest about this. The Reds' chances aren't great. We can get into the mathematics of it, what Fangraph says, what Baseball Reference says, what Baseball Prospectus says, what Vegas says. They've got to leapfrog a bunch of teams in a short amount of time. They have the toughest remaining schedule in the sport. Their offense right now stinks. Also, they don't have Hunter Green, which amplifies the importance of all those other dudes, including Rhett Lauder, who pitches tonight. Nick Lodolo is one of those other dudes. They badly need him to stay healthy over the final, whatever it is, 6-7 weeks of the season. And if you're looking ahead to next year, it certainly feels like there's a very distinct possibility that Hunter Green misses most of 2027, if not all. Remember, a month ago, many were wondering, do you trade Nick Lodolo in part because of the depth of your starting pitching? That depth has already been cut into, and they have a lot of guys who are always hurt. Nick Lodolo's importance to this team, which has been something we've talked about for a while, is now amplified. And so anything he can do to help ensure that the blisters don't keep reoccurring, pretty important. Last night, the breaking ball looked pretty good. If the new grip on the breaking ball prevents blisters, that's cool. But if it prevents blisters and helps him throw a good breaking ball, that's even better. And despite him being touched for 3 solo homers last night, that pitch, when he used it, looked pretty good. Tyler Stevenson had a big knock that drove in a couple of runs. We got to talk about Tyler Stevenson's future at some point. We'll spend some time on Hunter Green as well. And I know what I sounded like talking about the Bengals preseason game with Austin a few minutes ago. I know what I sounded like. But that's not a reflection of me. It's actually a reflection of 7 really great months. We'll get to that coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as it relates to the Bengals. Brendaman and Jones on baseball in the 4 o'clock hour as well. But Tony Pike, we'll talk about tomorrow night's preseason opener next on ESPN 1530.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Traffic on 71 northbound off ramp to Norwood Lateral. The crash on the ramp has a right lane blocked. And police and a tow truck on the scene at 275 eastbound. On ramp from northbound 71. Delays to Mosteller. It's about a 15-minute delay. And due to yesterday's storms, we have road closures, including Mount Carmel between Apple Blossom and Broadwell, and Newtown between Clough Pike and Lawyer Road. I'm Rick Schrempf with traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it in and get a quote in minutes. Plus, access thousands of products beyond what's in store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Mo Egger here. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much cash you can get right now. 513-800-1550. That's 513-800-1550. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Genesis Diamonds' epic engagement ring event is coming. It's this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds on Montgomery Road. For 1 weekend only, experience the complete collections of the world's most sought-after bridal designers, Baraggio and Tacori, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. During this special event, explore the entire Tacori collection, including hundreds of the latest styles, and save up to $5,000 on your engagement ring. American-made and handcrafted by master artisans in California, Tacori rings are known for their hidden details, unmatched quality, and timeless beauty. If every ring you've seen is starting to look the same, you're shopping in the wrong place. We're also bringing in a fresh selection of GIA-certified diamonds in every shape and size, direct from the cutters, so you can create your perfect ring from the ground up. Enjoy special event incentives, 0% interest financing, and up to $5,000 in savings. Genesis Diamonds, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Montgomery Road. Don't just find a ring, find the one.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Mo Egger here. My friends at Window World are all about upfront pricing. Right now, get 10 Energy Star windows for just $77.90. That's $159 a month, or 8 for $62.72, just $128 a month.
Find out more at windowworldcincinnati.com.
Ice Cube's Big 3 season is heating up, and it all comes down to this. The Big 3 playoffs are coming to Dallas, Texas. The 4 best teams in the Big 3 battle it out for a championship. The action starts with the legendary Big 3 Celebrity Game. 3 games of the most physical, competitive, and nonstop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Presented by iHeart. Yay! Ice Cube's Big 3 season is heating up, and it all comes down to this. The Big 3 playoffs are coming to Dallas, Texas. The 4 best teams in the Big 3 battle it out for a spot in the championship. The action starts with the legendary Big 3 Celebrity Game. 3 games of the most physical, competitive, and nonstop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Yay!
Not sure about that repair or estimate? Get a free second opinion from Bartell's Heating and Cooling. No cost, no pressure. We'll inspect, explain your options, and help you save. Call Bartell's Heating and Cooling or visit bartellsheatingcooling.com. Bartell's, for a comfortable way of life.
From the Precision Comfort Tempstar Weather Center.
Here's your forecast.
This report is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Rain and storm chances will continue throughout the rest of our Wednesday, with flash flooding a possibility for everyone as well. Tonight we'll stick with rain and storm chances, and those will also linger into our Thursday. Temperatures will stay warm as well. Expect the upper 80s. That's your 9 First Warning forecast. I'm meteorologist Cameron Harden.
Why pay full price when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual, and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey Alexa, what's going on in the NFL?
Getting ESPN 1530 from iHeartRadio.
ESPN
All right.
1530 with the latest from Bengals training camp. Brought to you by Kemba Credit Union on your official home of the Cincinnati Bengals. ESPN 1530.
We're broadcasting from the Cincinnati Open, where it's right now raining harder than it is since I got here about 2 o'clock. No Bengals practice today because they have a game tomorrow hosting the Lions. You'll hear it live on ESPN 1530 with Dan Horde, Dave Lapham, and making his Bengals radio network broadcast debut, our guy Tony Pike. We do 3 of these reports. Do I have to spend all 3 of them congratulating you?
No, Mo, because like many things in life, we're humbled quickly in this world. And I could not have been any more humbled over the past hour to wrap up our broadcast from the Cincinnati Open and proceed to walk a half mile to my car in pouring down rain with no cover, no umbrella, backpack soaked, shirt soaked, socks are soaked, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no shuttles. There was nothing. It was the worst half-mile walk I've ever made.
So was your reaction by the time you got to your car the same as my reaction when I walked from my car to where you guys were broadcasting from?
Your reaction was more than justified. I mean, I threw stuff as soon as I got in the car. I've slammed stuff down. I think I'm just now getting feeling back in the other parts of my body. Yeah, it was an interesting walk, and it was a humbling walk, Mo.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster, as the last 10 months have been.
Well, I understand, and I'll say this often today, but congratulations. I want you to expand upon something you were talking about with Austin today, and that's connectivity. Because whether it's been listening to players talk with other reporters, go on other people's shows, or certainly the players that you and I have had a chance to talk to during training camp shows, one thing that does stand out is there is like a consistency with the messaging, which tells me that especially among the new guys, dudes are bought in.
Every message is the same. Everyone's rowing in the same direction. There's not players talking about their contracts. There's not players talking about individual goals and individual achievements. It's one vision. It's a Super Bowl. It's a championship. And it's an intensity and a focus and an understanding that you and I talked about on day one of training camp, where the player said that Zach Taylor got up the night before and wrote 6 and 11 on the whiteboard. And every player has bought into that. Every player has spoke to that, and the locker room and the star power that they have in it, but also the focus. It does. We say this a lot. We've said it a lot during camp. Something about this camp and this team right now feels different.
Yeah, and I think to get the new guys to kind of buy in, like this is something you see with college football a lot because there's so many players who come from other programs every single year, to kind of get them to understand the mission that all the returning players are on isn't the easiest thing to do.
And you've got all types of players, free agents who've made a lot of money already and now coming and making more money. You've got rookies that are trying to prove themselves. You've got veterans. I think one of the biggest things for the Bengals is the Joe Burrow leadership aspect, because no doubt on that roster, he's who everyone looks at and says, that's the dude. That's very well the best quarterback in the league. If he's doing it, if he's pulling in this direction, then so are we. Like, if you're a young player on this team and Joe Burrow and Dexter Lawrence are setting the examples, or Jamar Chase, what excuse do you have not to set the same example and hold yourself to the highest standard? I think that permeates through the whole locker room right now for the Bengals.
All right, Tony, we'll talk again in about an hour. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Mo.
Tony Pike joins us for hourly training camp reports right around 350, right around 450, and right around 550. And again, tomorrow night, he will be in the broadcast booth with Dan Horde, Dave Lapham, and Wayne Boxmiller, Bengals and Lions. Countdown to kickoff at 5:30. Our pregame coverage begins at 3:05. So one theme of the offseason has been connectivity. One theme has been lack of controversy. Obviously, a huge theme has been player acquisition. Now I've got a theme for the next month, next on ESPN 1530. When employers like 700 WLW and Cintas choose Delta Dental of Ohio, employees can access the nation's largest selection of individually contracted dentists, and they get the care they need from the dentist they prefer.
This is Jennifer Mueller, Vice President of Human Resources at Cintas. We believe in offering our employees the best in benefits, and that's why we offer Delta Dental coverage.
Delta Dental, building healthy, smart, vibrant communities for all. DeltaDentalOH.com.
If you run a business and need to get your message to your next customers fast, nothing is faster than audio with iHeart. Let us help you grow your business at the speed of sound today at 844-844-iHeart.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Mel's Auto Glass is the clear choice for auto glass repair, replacement, and recalibration. Call Mel's first at 513-563-7771 and let Mel's handle the details. Family owned for 38 years, Mel sends certified technicians right to you. Mel's Auto Glass.
This month at AE Door and Window, get up to 15% off Provia entry doors and select Clopay garage doors, up to 20% off Pella and Provia windows, and up to $150 off LiftMaster openers, plus 0 down, 0 interest for 2 years. Study up on these back-to-school savings at aedorsales.com.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Mo Egger here. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much cash you can get right now. 513-800-1550. That's 513-800-1550. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Genesis Diamond's epic engagement ring event is coming. It's happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Genesis Diamonds on Montgomery Road. For 1 weekend only, experience the complete collections of the world's most sought-after bridal designers, Verragio and Tacori, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. During this event, explore the entire Verragio collection, including hundreds of the latest styles, and save up to $5,000 on your engagement ring. Every Verragio ring is handcrafted by true artisans with unmatched attention to detail. If every ring you've seen is starting to look the same, you're shopping in the wrong place. We're also bringing in a fresh selection of GIA-certified diamonds in every shape and size, direct from the cutters. You can create your perfect ring from the ground up. Enjoy special event incentives, 0% interest financing, and up to $5,000 in savings. But only this weekend. Genesis Diamonds, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Montgomery Road. Don't just find a ring, find the one.
Mo Egger here. My friends at Window World are all about upfront pricing. Right now, get 10 Energy Star windows for just $77.90. That's $159 a month, or 8 for $62.72, just $128 a month.
Find out more at windowworldcincinnati.com.
From the ESPN 1530 studio, built on the financial foundation of Omega Wealth Private Capital, where wise money matters.
This is 1530 WCKY, the 50,000-watt orange and black home of the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's ESPN 1530.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. 10 months after buying the Lakers from the Buss family for $10 billion, Mark Walter has agreed to sell them to Thrive Capital founder Josh Kushner and former Disney CEO Bob Iger for $12.5 billion. Sale still needs approval from the NBA's Board of Governors. Russell Westbrook, the fourth overall pick in the 2008 NBA draft by the Seattle Sonics, announced his retirement after 18 NBA seasons. Westbrook, 9 All-NBA selections, a two-time NBA scoring champ, a 2017 League MVP, holds the NBA record for most career triple-doubles with 209. He is the most athletic point guard of all time, believes ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
Athleticism, yes, as far as his explosiveness to the basket, the way that he's able to push the rock, but also anything else he was able to do, the block shots, like those type of things. And when you think about him averaging a triple-double in 4 seasons of his career, that has never been done.
Jets quarterback Quantez Stigger's doing well. A day after collapsing during a joint practice with Tampa Bay, he's entered concussion protocol after displaying symptoms yesterday.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Thursday. The Steelers know this is Aaron Rodgers' last ride, so what should fans expect from him? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Crews are continuing their cleanup of an accident 275 eastbound on ramp northbound 71. Delays to Marsteller. It's about a 20-minute delay. 71 northbound. The exit ramp to Norwood Lateral, a crash here, and 71 south before Fort Washington Way. Accident. I'm Rick Schrempf with traffic.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. Listen, if you're not trying to save Mo money on insurance, that's between you and your bank account. But if you are, then you got to call my friends at United Heartland Insurance in partnership with auto owners. They've got competitive prices, professional service, and they're not going to make you answer 47 trick questions like you're on some weird game show. Just honest hometown insurance that actually saves you, you guessed it, Mo money. Get a quote today at uhins.com. That's uhins.com, and tell them Mo sent you for that auto owner's hookup.
Don't miss these upcoming shows at Megacorp Pavilion. August 15th, Todd Rundgren. September 3rd, Third Eye Blind. September 18th, Jack White. October 1st, Modest Mouse. October 20th, Sugar. November 20th, Dweezil Zappa. December 5th, Mickey Dolenz. For complete show listings, visit promowestlive.com. Get tickets at axs.com.
Just imagine celebrating the holidays without the stress of holiday debt. With a holiday club account from Fairfax Credit Union, you can save a little all year long and have money ready when the season arrives. Set up automatic deposits, earn dividends on your savings, and make this year's holiday shopping a little merrier. Don't wait until December. Start saving today. Go to sharefax.org and search savings options, or stop by your nearest Fairfax Credit Union branch. Fairfax Credit Union, where smarter saving makes the holidays brighter.
Hosting August Outdoors? Rude. Beat the heat with an AC from Rude. Visit RudeCincinnati.com. RUUD Cincinnati.com.
Touchdown! Bengals! It's the first game of the preseason, and the Bengals are looking to start fast. To do it, they need to defeat Detroit. Can the Orange and Black tame the Lions? Get the call live from Dan Hort and Dave Lapham. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Stream for free on the new and improved iHeartRadio app or ESPN 1530, the official home of the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, there you go. It's 4:04. This is ESPN 1530. My name is Mo Egger. Thank you so much for listening today. Hopefully you are staying dry. We are staying dry. We're at the Cincinnati Open Tennis Tournament, which it has been wet and rainy all day long, so no tennis. The verbiage in tennis is not before 6 o'clock, and so not before 6 o'clock is what they're saying. It is the rain has been steady. I think about 20 minutes ago, it was pretty much as hard as I had seen it all day long. And it's a bummer. You know, they've expanded this event to cover 2 weeks. And so this afternoon has at least been a wash. Hopefully tonight is not. But nonetheless, it is awesome to be here at this facility. The grounds look amazing despite the weather, and this is going to be packed a lot over the next week and a half. World-class tennis, world-class food, world-class accommodations. We're next to a bar. I think they could have had somebody here manning the bar for us so we can have a cold one. But nonetheless, we always appreciate the hospitality provided by the folks at the Cincinnati Open. By the way, we started this about 3 weeks ago, and I don't know if we're still calling this the beta, but now we do video. We're like a real live 21st century radio station. We have video of the show, so you could actually watch me sit here and talk. It could not be more boring, but nonetheless, everybody else is doing it, so we're not exactly setting a trend. Sometimes, because he is very busy, like I think this happened during one of the breaks yesterday, sometimes Taryn will leave the video feed on during a break. Usually it has like the logo of the show or like a be right back message, but sometimes he's got a lot going on. He's got to talk to people on the phone. He's producing a radio show, and so he'll leave the camera on occasionally. It is a shame for those of you who are watching that he did not leave the camera on during the last break. Because had you been watching, you would have seen me inhale 2 slices of La Rosa's pizza. I mean, I wasn't shy about it. Inhaled it. It would not have been a good look. And so my thanks to Taryn for cutting the video feed during the break. Brenneman and Jones on baseball later on this hour. Speaking of baseball, let's talk about Tyler Stevenson. And don't let the Hunter Green thing scare you. I'll make that make sense a little bit later on, plus another check-in with Tony Pike. And I think the big Bengals news of the day, and we repeat it because I think we're all so excited. I'm excited as Tony's friend. I'm excited as a fan of Tony. I'm excited as a Bengals fan. I'm excited as somebody who works for the flagship radio station of the Bengals. Tony is going to be joining Dan and Lamp in the booth this season starting tomorrow night. The last 7 months have been awesome. I mean, legitimately, if you're a Bengals fan, how could you disagree with that? Not that there haven't been things here and there. I still wish there was another linebacker as impressive as Demetrius Knight has been in camp and I think as promising as Barrett Carter has looked in camp. Like, I think we'd all agree, like, still be cool if there was like another linebacker. And there's some legitimate roster questions. Maybe some of them start to get answered tomorrow night. Swing tackle. It feels like things are trending in the right direction at slot corner, but, let's see it in games. But the last 7 months have been a dream. Player acquisitions, trades, kind of a reimaging of the franchise based on the Dexter Lawrence deal. No contract squabbles. It is interesting that things have been kind of quiet as it relates to players like DJ Turner and Dax Hill, but quiet's good. No grandstanding, no holdouts, no hold-ins. Everybody is healthy right now, and I shouldn't say everybody because Shamar Stewart is not, BJ Hill is not, but we haven't watched training camp and, through the lens of, holy crap, did another guy get hurt? Is another guy going to miss time? They've had extraordinary continuity. The most important person who wears a Bengals uniform, the most important person who gets a paycheck from the Bengals seems rejuvenated and re-energized. That's obviously Joe Burrow. Everybody seems to be bought in. They had maybe not unanimous, but felt like pretty damn close to unanimous participation during the offseason program. Like the schedule release didn't make anybody mad. It's been a dream. The last 7 months, if you're a Bengals fan, have been a dream. Now, not as good of a dream as, winning the Super Bowl or getting the 1 seed or anything like that. But I don't know. I don't know that you could have imagined a better offseason. When we met at the end of last year, Tony and Mo football show, or when we talked about what lied ahead at the end of the 2025 season, I don't think any of us in our wildest dreams could have imagined that the offseason would unfold the way it has. Where's the controversy going to come from? Who are they going to whiff on in free agency? Are they really going to be aggressive? What are they not going to do? Like all things we wondered. And so the preseason starts tomorrow. And mechanically, yes, there's stuff. There's players who have shown some promise in camp. How do they look in the preseason? How do some of the lower on the depth chart roster battles play out? Do we see continued dominance from the defensive front? Does the offense take a step forward? How does Joe Burrow look? But to me, and maybe this is 41 years of being a Bengals fan that is influencing me too much. The storyline for the next month is what can dump cold water on all that we have just watched unfold over the last 7 months? What could go wrong? I know how that sounds, right? It sounds pessimistic. It's not meant to be. It's kind of based on, like, at every turn there's been a quality free agent signing, a franchise just altering trade, a draft that, like, the early returns on the draft picks, and they haven't played a game yet, but the early returns on the draft picks have been good. There's not a controversy out there. So what happens over the next month that shakes that up? It's maybe the incorrect lens through which to watch the next 3 football games, but that's it for me because I'm obviously talking about injuries. I said on the show yesterday, what the Bengals have going for them right now that is better than maybe anything else is relatively good health. It is arguably the most important variable in this sport. Health. Sometimes not the best team that wins, sometimes the healthiest. Right now they have really good health. Shamar Stewart and B.J. Hill would object to that. Maybe Dax Hill would object to that. But so far, really good health. What happens over the next 3 games? And the practices in between. And they have a joint practice a week from tomorrow with the Bears. But what happens in the next 32 days that changes that? Even just a little bit. Because right now, I don't know that you can find many who care about this team. And those who care about this team, we're maybe looking at it through we're not looking through it through an objective lens when we talk about this team. But I think all of us are expecting the playoffs. I think most of us are expecting this team to at least seriously compete for a division title. I think if Burrow plays 17 games, they win a division title. I've got him at like 11-6. I'm trying to talk myself into 12-5. That's doubling your win total from last year, which is really hard to do. But legitimately, like, these preseason games, yeah, there's some stuff to work on. But what happens in those games that sort of deflates things a little bit? Because I don't know how, if you're as excited about this season as I think all of us are, I don't know that there's anything that's going to happen over the next few weeks that's going to amplify that. If you think the Bengals are going to go 14-3, I heard a talkbacker today on 360 talk about this team going 14-3. If you think the Bengals are going 14-3, ain't nothing going to happen over the next month that's going to make you think they're going to go 15-2, and ain't nothing's going to happen over the next month that's going to make you go, you know what, they're not going to be that good, except a significant injury. That's it. That's the storyline. That's the storyline. And it maybe is the storyline every year, and maybe it's the storyline every year for every team. But this offseason has been awesome. From a talk show perspective, and I know I've joked about this a lot, there's been a little bit of a lack of content late May, June, July with, no contract controversy. But as a fan, around every turn there has been something positive, something good. And, I've said this about Joe Burrow. I think he mirrors how most of us feel right now. He seems re-energized, rejuvenated. He seems psyched. He seems stoked. Seems refreshed. I think as fans, we could all relate to that. What happens? And I know mechanically, like, we can dive into the nuts and bolts. I do. I'm going to talk about this with Tony at 4:45. Like, do they go vanilla in the preseason, or do we see some of the same things we've seen so far during these practices? So, but more than anything, like, I watched last year during the preseason through a different lens. It was, okay, they're going to play Joe in the preseason. Let's see how that looks. Let's try to imagine how that's going to translate to success early in the season. Let's see if some of these pieces on defense who we wish they wouldn't have brought back in 2025, let's see how they operate. Like, this is the end of an offseason where there's been nothing but good news. Does that somehow continue over the next month? And if the answer is yes, the excitement for game 1 against the Bucs is going to be absolutely through the roof. 14 minutes after 4 o'clock. By the way, we can take phone calls even though we're not on site, or we're not in the studio today. Not going to be in our studio till next week. 513-749-1530 is our phone number. 866-702-3776. By the way, for what it's worth, I believe they have canceled play entirely for tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Did we get that message handed to us? So there will be no tennis today. That's cool. We're still here. Does that mean they're not going to open that bar? Due to ongoing inclement weather, Session 2, today is Session 2, canceled. Out of an abundance of caution for our fans, gates will not be open today. Thank you for your understanding and patience. That, according to the folks here at the Cincinnati Open. That's a bummer because I wanted to watch some tennis today, but you know what? Come back and watch some tennis later on this week or perhaps next week. 16 minutes after 4 o'clock. Hunter Green's injury. We haven't had a lot of time to talk about Hunter Green's injury. Let's talk about it, but not so much about Hunter Green next on ESPN 1530 Cincinnati Sports Station.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Couple of accidents have cleared. First, 275 eastbound, ramp to 71. And 71 north, the ramp to Norwood Lateral. Now, we do have 71 southbound before Fort Washington Way with the accident. Crews are there. Breakdown on State Route 28 at Romar Drive. I'm Rick Schreck with traffic.
This report is sponsored by Audible. When you start listening to books on Audible, traffic might seem like less of an annoyance and more of an opportunity for another chapter. Audible, stories that speak to you. New members can start listening with a 30-day free trial at audible.com.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Hi, this is Chris from Rolling Homes. Built in Cincinnati, built on trust. If you want to skip the hassle of selling your home, we can help. No repairs, no fees, no stress. Just a straightforward cash offer and a closing timeline that fits your needs. We've helped homeowners across Cincinnati and we're ready to help you too. Real people, no pressure, just solutions. One call, one offer, done. Call 513-513-CASH. That's 513-513-CASH. Rolling Homes. Call us today and see how easy selling your home can be.
Beat the heat with Bartell's Heating and Cooling. Fast AC repairs, reliable installs, and tune-ups to keep you cool all summer. Call Bartell's Heating and Cooling, 513-867-8629, or visit bartellsheatingcooling.com. Bartell's, for a comfortable way of life.
Before the first pitch, Covington Yard. After the final out, Covington Yard. Huge patio, screens everywhere, cheaper parking, and just a block and a bridge from the ballpark. Covington Yard, your game day home base.
Does your financial plan need a fresh start? Journey Advisory Group helps individuals and families simplify finances with personalized planning designed around their goals, investments, and long-term future. Take the next step towards financial confidence. Visit JourneyAdvisoryGroup.com today.
Did you know Skechers makes high-performance footwear for almost every sport you play? Here's what our athletes are saying.
Hi, I'm pro basketball player OG Anunoby. I dominate in Skechers basketball. Skechers delivers championship-level performance.
I'm WNBA star Jackie Young. Skechers keeps me quick, comfortable, and ready for anything.
And you can get high-performance Skechers and hands-free slip-ins technology. Just step in and perform.
I'm pro golfer Matt Fitzpatrick. I play in hands-free Skechers golf slip-ins.
Find yours at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or whatever high-performance sports shoes are sold.
Remember when everyone was creating those LeBron tribute songs? Now it's your time to shine. Create your own with Smile Tunes. Honor your favorite player, team, or your Little League star with a custom song from Smile Tunes. Visit smiletunes.com and create your own anthem today.
In this edition of the Marketer's Report, Kelsey Agostinelli, Vice President of Marketing Operations for Mars, talks about the mindset of the listener.
When you're listening to audio, a lot of times you're really tuning into the messages you're looking for, the music you're listening for, or the podcast you're listening for. So that captive, selective audience is special.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live events, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
WCKY Cincinnati, an iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human. ESPN 1530.
iHeart Radio. Minutes after 4 o'clock. This is ESPN 1530. Mo Egger, thanks for listening today. Thanks for watching. Tony Pike in about 20 minutes. Latest training camp update, and Brenneman and Jones on baseball. We had a few guests. We're at the Cincinnati Open today. Today's session has been canceled. What does that mean? They're going to lock us in? Like, we're done at 6 o'clock. They're closing the joint. Are we going to be stuck inside here? Are we going to be having to spend the night here? Also, I'm told all the players are back in their lounge. My favorite tennis player is Madison Keys. If they're not playing, is there any reason why we can't get somebody to see if Madison will come on the show with me? But Ben Shelton 2 years ago, big fan of his too. Anyway, or somebody send a tweet to Madison Keys and tell her to come to the Top Deck bar so I could talk to somebody. Fun. 513-749-1530. Reds win last night. Hunter Green's having surgery. Tyler Stevenson had a big hit. We got to talk about extending him. But first, let's take a fall. It is a call-in show after all. Brian in Fort Thomas, you're on ESPN 1530. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. It's a good day to be a duck.
Yes. Good day to own a pair of galoshes. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
So I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, and I'm uncomfortably optimistic about this year, and it's uncomfortable. I feel so good and so confident about this team. I feel it'd be a disappointment not to win the division, assuming Joe stays healthy, and they don't lose like a whole slew of dudes during the season. Like if there's not injury and they don't win the division, I don't know how. I don't know what could happen. I mean, we had Joe say earlier in training camp or this year about how this reminds him of LSU, how they had everything they needed to win, and that was one of arguably the best teams in college football history. It's uncomfortable.
It is.
I think you probably feel the same way.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I felt really optimistic in 2022 because of what they had done the year before. But they're coming off a 6-win year this time. They haven't made the playoffs each of the last 3. I am often optimistic. I'm not as irrationally optimistic as I think I am right now. And part of that is, and maybe you agree, I'm not buying the Baltimore Ravens. Now, week to week, they're going to be hard to play. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. Matabuike is healthy and Trey Hendrickson added to that team. Maybe their pass rush is better. I'm not entirely convinced their offensive line is going to be significantly better. I don't know if Lamar has enough weapons, but I'm not as bullish on Baltimore as I think a lot of people are. And that adds, if you're not as bullish on Baltimore, you can't then say, well, I feel good about the Browns. They're not there. I don't know anybody who feels great about the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what about the team that returns an intact offense, an MVP caliber quarterback, and made upgrades on its defense? It's Cincinnati. It's irrational optimism to the point that I just keep waiting, and I think this is how we are all unfortunately wired. You keep waiting for what's behind the corner, what's around the corner, what's behind door number 2. You keep waiting for the other shooter job, whatever verbiage you want to use, and unfortunately, that's the lens through which I look at this preseason.
Yeah, and I feel like Baltimore's going to take a step back. I just think they took a minus on the coaching staff. I don't know who thinks that the coach was the issue in Baltimore for the past 5 years. I mean, they've been perennial good, one of the best teams in the league, and I just don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be worse. I don't see any reason other than health that could really, stop this team from winning the division. And I mean, I don't want to win the division. I want to get the bye. I want to win it all. We watched, these long running stands of like not winning the title. They come to an end. I mean, the Red Sox won a title a number of years ago after their curse. I just think it's our time. I think we deserve it as a city, as a fan base. It's time to have a parade.
Can't wait. Hope it happens. And like the New York Knicks, of course, 53 years.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean,
Bengals, it's been 50
you just felt it. I mean, I've never felt. I felt winning a playoff game was one of the greatest moments of my life, other than my child being born. I can't imagine what a title winning is. I mean, it's going to be awesome.
It would be insane, and I think the remarkable thing is 8 months after the conclusion of a 6-win season, we're actually entertaining that possibility, and that scares me. Brian, I appreciate the phone call. I hope you stay dry. Like the Baltimore thing for me, I understood why they moved on from John Harbaugh. He had been there for a long time. He's probably going to have a lot of success in New York. But like, if you look at how they lost so many games over the last couple of years, there are times when it feels like, even for a great coach, that it's time. And I think I like Jesse Minter because of where he's from. Had Jesse Minter been hired by the Cincinnati Bengals, if they had a vacancy, I think we'd all be pretty happy. But it often takes a little time for new coaches. So I'm not as bullish on Baltimore. It would be unsurprising if they made the playoffs. It would be unsurprising if they were a bear to play. But I feel like with the Cincinnati roster, and we haven't seen the pieces work on defense yet. But, man, like, even the training camp practices, that training camp practice on Sunday with the offense and defense trading blows is exactly what you want. Beyond that, we all went into training camp wondering, can some of these rookies contribute? So far, so good. We all went into training camp wondering, all right, well, are the changes they've made up front getting after the quarterback, are they going to pay off? So far, they have. Again, I'm not – we were optimistic coming into training camp. I said 11 wins 4 or 5 weeks ago. Nothing about training camp has done anything to dissuade anybody who thought the Bengals were going to be good from continuing to think the Bengals are going to be good. How does the preseason change that? And maybe not the only answer, but obviously the biggest answer would be injuries. And so you always watch preseason games kind of through your hands, wondering like, all right, Burrow and the starters are out there, get them out. Let's move on. But man, a little bit more so now, because I do think a fully intact team, if they can get to the post second Sunday of September and be as healthy as they are now, and that might be asking a bit much, I think it's game on. I'll take my chances. I've said this all along. If Burrow plays 17, I think they win the division. And I do think 11 will win it. And by the way, I've had people tell me 11 sounds pessimistic. To me, it's like beyond 11, you're asking them to double or more than double their win total. And I do think that's a little bit of a tough ask, but we'll see. First world problems, 28 after 4 o'clock. You can send a tweet anytime at Mo Egger. Thanks to Delta Dental. Delta Dental is building healthy, smart, vibrant communities for all. Go to deltadentaloh.com. We got to talk about the hero of last night's Reds win next. We're at the Cincinnati Open. This is ESPN 1530 Cincinnati Sports Station.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Heavy rain falling through the region. We have 275 eastbound at the Indiana-Kentucky state line of the Carl Cropper Bridge with a breakdown of a vehicle. 71 south before 75. Delays back to Fort Washington Way. Accident on the shoulder. State Route 28. Romar Drive is a breakdown as well. And we have race between Remlin and Boomer shut down because of debris. I'm Rick Schrempf with traffic.
This report is sponsored by AAA Tire and Auto Service. Prepare for the cooler weather ahead at your local AAA Tire and Auto Service. Their fall maintenance package includes an oil change, tire rotation, windshield wiper replacement, and more for just $119.99. Offer valid through August 31st. See store for details.
No required subscriptions, no trial periods, no surprise charges, no monthly fees. iHeartRadio is different. It's 100% free. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text EDGE to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text EDGE to 321-321. That's EDGE to 321-321. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%, which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Mo Egger here. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process. And listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much cash you can get right now. 513-800-1550. That's 513-800-1550. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey, it's Flo here to say drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Nice! With my new savings, I'll get some hiking gear. It'll be great for my outdoor era.
I don't know if it counts as an era if you just buy stuff.
I got a cute hiking backpack. It's an outdoor era.
Well, you only bought one thing. I don't think it's an era.
Well, I think we're in a agree to disagree era.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. Anyway, with the money you could save by switching to Progressive, you can afford to switch to other things in life. It's
my savings era.
Also, everything you do is not an era.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Touchdown! Bengals! It's the first game of the preseason, and the Bengals are looking to start fast. To do it, they need to defeat Detroit. Can the Orange and Black tame the Lions? Get the call live from Dan Hort and Dave Lapham. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Stream for free on the new and improved iHeartRadio app or ESPN 1530, the official home of the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know what I miss? Well, first of all, Terrence playing Will Smith music. I mean, look, I know I'm not in studio. I know I'm not there with you, but this is just inexcusable. And I'm gonna have to have a talk with management now about Taryn producing the show because he just keeps playing Will Smith music. You know what I really miss beyond coming out of breaks and not hearing Will's? I miss summer. Summer was fun, right? Summer when it was sunny and hot and you'd be outside doing stuff. It was just a couple of days ago. The rain is unending here in Mason. Sports headlines are a service of Kelsey Chevrolet, home of lifetime powertrain protection and guaranteed credit approval from their family to yours for life. KelseyChev.com. Bengals prepping for tomorrow night's preseason opener against the Detroit Lions. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. Pre-game sports talk, that's going to be our show tomorrow. 3 o'clock from the stadium on ESPN 1530. There is Bengals news, however. Congratulations to our friend and colleague Tony Pike, who is being added to the Bengals Radio Network broadcast booth alongside Dan Horton, Dave Lapham in the game. Tony is also going to be hosting Bengals Line this year. And also give it up to our guy, Joe Daneman, who is going to expand his portfolio when it comes to the Bengals and be a part of shows like Bengals Pep Rally, which is on ESPN 1530 Fridays at 3. Fridays at 3. That's why this guy's off on Fridays. Meanwhile, the Reds are in Chicago, South Side, for the second of 3 against the White Sox. Rhett Lauder against former Red Luis Castillo. 7:40 tonight on 700 WLW, your starting lineup against a guy who has one of the best changeups I've ever seen. Ellie De La Cruz at short, Sal Stewart's DHing, Blade is in left, Suarez plays third, Tolley is at first, Rodriguez in right field, Trevino catches tonight, TJ Friedel in center, Matt McClain plays second and bats ninth. Reds come into play tonight 5.5 games out of that last wild card spot. Florence will host Lake Erie tonight, I suppose weather permitting. Best of luck tonight to the Hamilton Westside All-Stars who take on North Oldham from Kentucky in the championship game of the Great Lakes region. Winner advances to Williamsport. And play here at the Cincinnati Open never got underway, and it will not get underway. They're not going to play tennis today or tonight. They'll try again tomorrow. But that's not stop. This show is so good, such a well-oiled machine. We can do a broadcast from an event that's not even happening. Have we found out if Madison Keys is coming by, however? That would be nice. Brendan and Jones on Baseball is about 15 minutes away, and Tony's going to join us again for the latest on the Bengals as we get set for tomorrow night. The ball game last night, Reds come back from down 4 against the White Sox in the south side of Chicago on Pope Hat night, and win the ball game in extra innings. One of the key moments of the game, and there were many. It was a fun game last night, including Emilio Pagan surviving a 14-pitch battle to close out the ball game in the 10th inning last night. But a big 2-run hit by Tyler Stevenson. Tyler Stevenson was not traded. And a lot of people thought Tyler Stevenson was going to be traded at the deadline. Tyler Stevenson, the day before the deadline, looked like a guy who thought he was going to be traded. Now, the Reds don't have a great history of letting players get to free agency and then re-signing them. I think the last guy they had who even got to free agency, like a player who played 6 years for the team and then hit free agency and then left before being traded, was Zach Cozart. So there's not a very long history of players getting those first 6 years and then even hitting free agency, but they obviously don't have a very good track record of players hitting free agency and then retaining them. They didn't trade Tyler Stevenson. Now, you could argue if you want. And by the way, it's worth mentioning. Both the Phillies and Diamondbacks are losing this afternoon. Philadelphia 7-1 of the Cardinals as they head to the ninth inning in St. Louis, and the Diamondbacks trail the Rockies 6-1 in Phoenix as Arizona gets set to come to the plate in the bottom of the fourth. So you could argue, well, they kept Tyler Stevenson around because, they're going to try to get to the postseason this year, and okay, we'll see if that works. Who are you going to have next year behind the plate that's better than Tyler Stevenson? Now, what he would cost, I haven't even begun to do the math. And frankly, if I was Tyler Stevenson, I've earned the right to hit free agency. I now have an opportunity to play among the teams that are courting me. I have a chance to pick the one that I want to play for. But if you're the Reds, you do have Alfredo Duno in the system. He's still just 20 years old. As much as everybody is real high on him as a prospect, I really can't find anybody who believes he should catch 110 games at the big league level next year. He got better than Tyler Stevenson. And he's got his deficiencies. I get it. He's not great at throwing out runners. He has often been a work in progress behind the plate. He's obviously become a weapon with his success rate and challenging calls via the ABS. He has swung a really hot bat these last 2.5 months. Maybe that's skewing my thinking a little bit, but I don't know, dude. Next year's primary catcher, are they going to be better than Tyler Stevenson? If the answer is no, how do you not try to re-sign him? And maybe Tyler's looking for something unreasonable where it's like, yeah, I'll take a 7-year contract. Yeah, for a catcher, we're not doing that. It's a hard pass. But wouldn't you prioritize over the next 2 months trying to figure out a way to lock him in for at least next year and hopefully beyond at least a little bit before he hits free agency? If you weren't going to trade him, and if you weren't in this, with the market just, a lot of catchers went and not Tyler Stevenson, if you're going to hang on to him, don't you at least try? Don't you at least take advantage of the fact that he still works for you and thus you have exclusive negotiating rights with the guy to try to get something done? I would. Because I don't know, man. He's not yet 30 years old. I don't know who you're going to have next year who's better. And if, by the way, if Duno comes up next year and slides Tyler down the depth chart, then okay, fine. There's worse things than having Tyler Stevenson on your team. He never hit enough to be a first baseman. He never hit enough to be a left fielder. We went through that 5-6 years ago. But as a catcher, his offense is fine. It's fine enough. It's trending in the right direction. Because of the ABS system, now you have found like this thing that didn't exist that he's really good at. And if not Tyler, if the prospect isn't ready, what do you got that's better? I don't think there's an answer. If there is, you could tell me at 513-749-1530. Watching Bengals training camp practice, we have seen coordinators on both sides of the ball move guys around. Practices haven't exactly been vanilla. Will tomorrow night's game be vanilla? Tony Pike, who's not vanilla, tells us next. We're broadcasting today from the Cincinnati Open. The Cincinnati Open is anything but. It's actually the Cincinnati closed because weather has postponed play today. But we're here nonetheless at the Linder Tennis Center. Brendaman and Jones on baseball also coming up this hour, 18 from 5 o'clock. This is ESPN 1530 Cincinnati Sports Station.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Heavy rain moving through the area, so reduced speeds advised to 75 eastbound after Hamilton. Crash on the left shoulder. Breakdown on the Carroll Cropper Bridge 275 eastbound at the Indiana-Kentucky state line has delays of about 15 minutes back to US 50. Good news, 71 south at Fort Washington Way has cleared. We do have race between Remlin and Boomer and Ashbury between Ayers and Hopper shut down because of debris. I'm Rick Schremp with traffic.
This report is sponsored by Driveway Dumpsters. Visit ddumpsters.com.
The in-laws are coming, and the spare room is basically a storage unit with a door. Breathe. Driveway Dumpsters delivers same day so the clutter's gone before they arrive. Book now at ddumpsters.com. Driveway Dumpsters, the best dumpster for your dollar.
When your joints ache every single day, you probably have been told your best and only option is surgery. Well, why not do your homework, right? It's back to school time, right? So let's talk about homework. Because once the joint is replaced, there's no going back. Which means before you schedule surgery, you got to get a second opinion from QC Kinetics. This is the homework part. So whether you're dealing with pain from like bone-on-bone arthritis or a torn meniscus or maybe just years of wear and tear, surgery is not the only conversation you should have. Talk to the medical team at QC Kinetics about how they use regenerative treatments to deliver relief to patients just like you here in the greater Cincinnati area. Starts with a medical evaluation, and then they review your history, they look at any imaging, and they attack the source of the pain. And if you're a good candidate, they're going to concentrate tiny healing tools within your body right in the spot that's actually causing the pain. Look, the idea here is simple. It's at least postponing surgery, pushing it off, and ideally having you avoid it altogether, which is why it makes sense to explore this option. The consultation is free. The phone call is free. So why accept that surgery is your only choice when there's maybe a better option available? QC Kinetics, 513-847-0019, 513-847-0019. That's 513-847-0019.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
At Nixco Plumbing, we show up ready with solutions, not guesses. From tough clogs to everyday repairs, you get the honest, expert service you deserve. Schedule today at nixcoplumbing.com. Choose a pro. Choose Nixco.
Mel's Auto Glass is the clear choice for auto glass repair, replacement, and recalibration. Call Mel's first at 513-563-7771 and let Mel's handle the details. Family owned for 38 years, Mel sends certified technicians right to you. Mel's Auto Glass.
If you run a business, you've probably heard plenty of AI promises. But here's one thing we know for sure. When consumers hear an ad for your business, 90% want to know it's a real person talking. And that's what you'll get when you advertise with iHeart. We are guaranteed human. That means real voices, real connection, and trusted audio that helps businesses drive results. Learn how easy it is to tell your story through our voices today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Ice Cube's Big 3 season is heating up, and it all comes down to this. The Big 3 playoffs are coming to Dallas, Texas. The 4 best teams in the Big 3 battle it out for a spot in the championship. The action starts with the legendary Big 3 Celebrity Game. 3 games of the most physical, competitive, and nonstop 3-on-3 action. The game played the way you love. Watch live Saturday on CBS at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and catch replays Monday on BET. Presented by iHeart.
Yay! From the Baker Cooling Temp Star Weather Center, here's your forecast.
Rain and storm chances will continue throughout the rest of our Wednesday, with flash flooding a possibility for everyone as well. Tonight we'll stick with rain and storm chances, and those will also linger into our Thursday. Temperatures will stay warm as well. Expect the upper 80s. That's your 9 First Warning forecast. I'm meteorologist Cameron Harden.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
A journey to LA starts now. Get training camp coverage as it happens on the official home of the Bengals, ESPN 1530, Cincinnati Sports Station.
ESPN 1530, with the latest from Bengals training camp. Brought to you by Hollywood Casino Lawrenceburg, on your official home of the Cincinnati Bengals. ESPN 1530.
Tony Pike is back with us. Hopefully he is dried off after his walk from our broadcast location here in Mason to his car. Bengals and Lions tomorrow. Tony in the broadcast booth making his Bengals Radio Network debut with Dan Horde and Dave Lapham. You and I have talked a lot during training camp about how they're experimenting and trying different things. We're watching a lot of motions and shifts on offense, which I know you're a big proponent of. We've seen Al Golden try some different things with how he's utilized players specifically in the front. Now, preseason games typically are vanilla. You don't want to put a lot on tape, but could that change tomorrow night?
I think to an extent. I don't think we need to see Joe Burrow under center, dropping back, play action, or rollouts, because we've seen some blocking miscues from this team throughout training camp on those. But one of the things that I don't think we're able to gauge at all in camp is under center run success because they're just not tackling live. I think they should go under center and work on the run game tomorrow night, especially with Joe Burrow when he's in the game. Let's see some Chase Brown runs from under. And I do think it would help them to mix it up a little bit. Formations, motions, different things that would just make other teams watching and future opponents just another thing that they've got to prepare for during the week because you only get a limited amount of time to prepare. As much as you can put out there early that they're going to have to take notice of and have a game plan for, I think you help yourself out a little bit in that sense.
Anything similar on defense?
I think defense is different. I think defense, you just want to be base and allow guys to go play fast and make plays. Offensively, what kind of advantages can I gain? Defensively, we've seen them moving all around throughout training camp. I'm okay with that. I want to see some base defenses, and I want to see guys win one-on-one battles and see guys make plays when they're in space. If they can accomplish that tomorrow night, I think you're in a pretty good spot.
Tony, we'll talk again in about an hour. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mo.
Tony Pike joins us every hour with live training camp reports, and he'll be on the call tomorrow with Dan and Lap, Bengals and Lions, 7 o'clock tomorrow night on ESPN 1530. We're broadcasting from the Cincinnati Open in Mason. Brenneman and Jones on Baseball is next.
We're talking about players of a previous era against the hard-throwing pitchers, not just Paul Skeens, but a whole bunch of them that prevail in Major League Baseball today, and we'll talk more about it in just a moment.
Peach season is here at UDF, but it won't last long. Right now, buy 2 large cartons of UDF peach ice cream for just $10. You're gonna want to stock up. Peach ice cream is back at United Dairy Farmers for a limited time.
Looking for IT solutions that deliver results? Encore Technologies has you covered. We specialize in secure data management, cloud services, and innovative IT strategies tailored to your business needs. Our team of experts works tirelessly to ensure your technology infrastructure is robust and reliable. Visit Encore.tech to learn more about our comprehensive IT services. Encore Technologies, driving your business forward with cutting-edge solutions. Let's hit it out of the park together.
Supplying the tri-state with propane for over 75 years, Auxure Gas is constantly striving for the best pricing and high standards of safety, service, and reliability. Call Auxure Gas today at 513-724-7700 or online at auxuregas.com.
Once again, we're not putting the burden of proof on Paul Skeens. We're not putting the burden of proof on Babe Ruth. But it's an interesting topic. And are there guys back then who could come into the game today and be respectable or better?
And I know where you want to go with this, Ted Williams. Absolutely not. But why are we always comparing baseball players, different eras, but we never compare football players or basketball players? Can you imagine Joe Burrow compared to Johnny Unitas? Can you compare offensive linemen when they were 225 pounds compared to nowadays 325? Athletes are better. They're bigger, stronger, faster. No matter what anybody tells you, that's a fact.
You're 100%. And that's the greatest point of all in this, as far as this show is concerned, because I think that with everybody in the same boat back then, like Joe Nuxall used to say, spring training used to be you came to camp and got in shape to play. You laid around all winter. Right. That's not the way it is today. Guys come to camp, and they better be in shape from day one.
Yeah, you remember Pete always saying, the pitching was better back in the 60s. You had Juan Marichal, you had Koufax, Drysdale, and Gibson. And then Pete said that to me, and who else? Besides those 4 guys. Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. And again, that's one of the things that makes this game so great.
You've been listening to Brenneman and Jones on Baseball, presented by United Dairy Farmers, brought to you in part by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers on ESPN 1530. This is 1530 WCKY, Cincinnati, the 50,000-watt orange and black home of the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's ESPN 1530.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. For the second time in less than a year, the Los Angeles Lakers are being sold to Josh Kushner, founder of Thrive Capital, and former Disney CEO Bob Iger for a record-breaking price of $12.5 billion to Mark Walter. The sale still needs approval by the NBA's Board of Governors. As the Browns' quarterback competition between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders continues, first-year coach Todd Monken outlined his preseason plan for each. He said they'll see both of them. One starts this week, one next week. Each plays about a half. ESPN NFL analyst Louis Riddick.
Look, I think right now, with the new coaching staff, a new regime, they need to kind of just take this day by day and let the chips fall where they may. Let the players' play speak for itself. What I care about is production on the football field, and not looking forward to the 2027 draft and trying to put all your eggs in that basket and go, hey, look, we don't really need to really settle this situation out this year because we're going to address it next year. They've been trying to address it next year for years.
Falcons quarterback Tua Tagovailoa will start Friday's preseason opener. Still no decision from the team who will be the starter week 1. Michael Penix Jr. still not completely cleared from his ACL injury.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Heavy rain continuing to fall. Reduced speeds on the area freeways right now. We do have the accident on 71 southbound after Reading. As we have the delays back to MLK. State Route 129 at Hampshire Drive is a crash. About a 15-minute trip on northbound 75 between Mitchell and Paddock. I'm Rick Schrepp with traffic.
I'm not exactly great with apologies. After our last argument, I tried saying I'm sorry about 10 different ways, and none of them worked. So I went to Smile Tunes instead. I turned our story into a soulful love song that admitted she was right. Mostly. By the second chorus, she was laughing. By the end of the song, we were ordering takeout together. Turns out a custom song says what I couldn't. Visit smiletunes.com and create a personalized song that gets you out of the doghouse in style.
When employers like iHeart and ProSource choose Delta Dental of Ohio, employees can access top-quality care from a large nationwide network of dentists and obtain services from a leading provider of dental benefits.
This is Chris Ventrola, Human Resources Director at ProSource. We're committed to providing top-quality services for our customers. That's why we trust Delta Dental of Ohio to keep our employees happy and healthy so they can perform their best.
Delta Dental. Building healthy, smart, vibrant communities. DeltaDentalOH.com.
Your one stop for advertising? Call 844-844-IHEART.
Free shouldn't come with a catch. With iHeartRadio, it doesn't. No monthly fees, no trial periods. Radio, music, podcasts. Download the free iHeartRadio app now.
Genesis Diamonds' epic engagement ring event is coming. It's this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds on Montgomery Road. For 1 weekend only, experience the complete collections of the world's most sought-after bridal designers, Bellagio and Tacori, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. During this special event, explore the entire Tacori collection, including hundreds of the latest styles, and save up to $5,000 on your engagement ring. American-made and handcrafted by master artisans in California, Tacori rings are known for their hidden details, unmatched quality, and timeless beauty. If every ring you've seen is starting to look the same, you're shopping in the wrong place. We're also bringing in a fresh selection of GIA-certified diamonds in every shape and size, direct from the cutters, so you can create your perfect ring from the ground up. Enjoy special event incentives, 0% interest financing, and up to $5,000 in savings. Genesis Diamonds, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Montgomery Road. Don't just find a ring. Find the one.
Mo Egger here. Right now at Window World, get 10 new Energy Star windows for $77.90. That's just $159 a month, or 8 for $62.72. That's just $128 a month.
Thanks, Mo. For more details, visit WindowWorldCincinnati.com.
In this edition of the Marketer's Report, Kelsey Agostinelli, Vice President of Marketing Operations for Mars, talks about the mindset of the listener.
When you're listening to audio, a lot of times you're really tuning into the messages you're looking for, the music you're listening for, or the podcast you're listening for. So that captive, selective audience is special.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to the audiences, live events, and trusted influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
Hosting August Outdoors? Rude. Beat the heat with AC from Rude. Visit RudeCincinnati.com. RUUD Cincinnati.com.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Tri-State Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, PSA and T-test, and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Touchdown! Bengals! It's the first game of the preseason, and the Bengals are looking to start fast. To do it, they need to defeat Detroit. Can the Orange and Black tame the Lions? Get the call live from Dan Hort and Dave Lapham. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Stream for free on the new and improved iHeartRadio app or ESPN 1530. The official home of the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, here we go. We are broadcasting today from the Cincinnati Open. The Cincinnati Open is closed. No tennis today, unfortunately. As luck would have it, like we've had, Tony said this to me, Cincy 360 was broadcast from here before. Tony and I had the show on Friday from the stadium, and it was supposed to be a 2-hour outdoor practice. Rain got in the way. Rain screwed it up, and so we had a lot of fun doing a 4-hour and 45-minute show, but we didn't get a chance to watch much football. Then yesterday, Tony and Mo training camp show lasted 5 minutes before rain moved us out of the way, and today we've been fine. We've been on the air all afternoon. Unfortunately, no tennis because it's been raining all day. I will never be as accomplished or as good of a broadcaster as the late, great Jim Scott, the greatest on-air personality in the history of Cincinnati radio. But I will channel him for just a bit because we had nonstop rain yesterday. We've had nonstop rain in Cincinnati today. If he were on the air right now, do you know what he would say? He would say, 38 more days, we're going to have to build an ark or something of that nature. So just, it's not my line, it's his. Anyway, we're broadcasting from the Cincinnati Open, and despite the fact that there's no tennis today, the gates are closed. If you have tickets for tonight, don't come. I still get so excited for this event every year. I love tennis, and we'll never talk about it. I'm really not comfortable talking about tennis because I feel like there's always people who know so much more about it than me that will yell at me because I didn't, watch the Canadian Open or something. But like as a sport, it's probably the second sport I loved as like the first sport I fell in love with was baseball. And then I think the second sport that I fell in love with was tennis because the French Open and Wimbledon were on during the week. And as a kid, when there's sports on in the morning during the week, like that's it. And so I like the sport. I have an affinity for this event. They're always so kind to us. If you haven't been up here, come on a nicer weather day. But the grounds here are spectacular. Every year this tournament gets bigger. It gets better. It's extraordinarily family-friendly. And if you like meeting folks from other parts of the world or other parts of the U.S., this is it, man, because you find people who come from other parts of the world that they follow a favorite player from their country and they'll come here and then they'll go to New York for the U.S. Open in a couple of weeks. And the people watching here is terrific. I love this event. And it's a bummer that we couldn't watch any tennis today. But if you have tickets, hopefully you have better weather later this week or next. And ideally, if you don't have tickets, you come check it out for the first time because world-class tennis, world-class event, and they are extraordinarily awesome to us here every single year. Here's how awesome they are. They're letting us broadcast on a day where there's no tennis. Like if the Reds can their game, guess what? Broadcast is over. Bengals training camp, yes, Bengals have been very, very good to us. No training camp, sorry, got to go. Not here. So we love coming up here, and the folks with the Cincinnati Open have been terrific over the years. And the other thing, I also say this every single year. You can go to a Reds game and you'll have a blast, but you can't go up to the batting cage and watch Sal Stewart take batting practice. You can't do that. You can't go to a Bengals game and stand on the field while Joe Burrow is throwing with his receivers. But you can come to this event and stand behind the practice courts and watch some of the best players in the world practice and then work their way among the crowd. This event is terrific. Speaking of terrific, Bengals and Lions tomorrow. No major news today as it relates to the Bengals. No practice, obviously, but they did make an announcement today that makes us at iHeart very, very happy. Certainly makes me very, very happy, and that's the expansion of their radio broadcast booth to include our friend and colleague, Tony Pike. Bengals made this announcement at 2:30 today, and it's extraordinarily well-deserved. I've felt for years that, it would be hard to make the Bengals radio broadcast any better with the iconic Dan Horde, the legendary Dave Lapham. But maybe the only way you could make it better would be to add somebody, the person and the broadcaster, the caliber of Tony Pike. And I don't know if he has ever – I know he has never sat down and told me, hey, one day it would be cool to be in the Bengals radio broadcast booth. But if you're somebody like him with his level of knowledge and expertise, you're offered that opportunity, you say yes. And nothing is going to change as it relates to Tony doing his show, Tony being a part of my show on Mondays, Tony and Mo football show. He's still going to be on UC broadcast. Dude's going to be busy. I told this story earlier in the show, and it bears repeating if you weren't here for it. When Tony started doing broadcasting work, it was on the sideline for UC football, and as I recall, it wasn't a full-time thing. I think he was filling in for Tom Galletter, who was the sideline guy, and then he had to fill in doing a game for Dan Horde. And I believe we were in Connecticut for a UC UConn football game. This would have been like 2013, I think it was 2014. We were at Rentschler Field, which is a dump. And obviously knew Tony from his days playing at UC, was a huge fan, almost got him declared ineligible for selling Pike for Heisman T-shirts. And so we needed a sideline reporter, and somebody's idea was, let's use Tony. And I remember the first game, the first report he did on the sideline, and he was a little bit more of a sideline analyst than a reporter, but I remember thinking like, okay, natural. And not that any broadcaster, certainly myself, there aren't some rough edges to be smoothed out, but the ability to see and explain in a way that wasn't over the listener's head, that's a unique skill, and it's a unique skill to have if you've been working at it your entire life. I remember saying day one, like, okay, he's good at that. He could do that, and obviously his broadcast portfolio has expanded. He's been a part of our station, I think, since 2018, with the exception of the 1 week that he was let go last August, and that was the result of a moron making a bad decision. But he stepped in when Jim Kelly fell ill last year on UC football broadcast, and obviously we lost Jim Kelly not soon thereafter, and that was devastating, and it hurt, and it was so bad on so many levels. But Tony slid into Jim's chair, and instantly it was like, yep, he's fine. This broadcast will be okay because Tony is a natural. And so what he's going to add to that broadcast starting tomorrow night is going to be tremendous insight, humor, and the cool thing about it is, you got somebody as good as Dan and somebody as good as Lap and somebody as good as Tony. Like, they'll figure out a way to make it work very, very quickly. And so I'm extraordinarily happy for Tony as a friend. I'm extraordinarily happy for us as, we're the flagship home of the Bengals. It makes the broadcast better. I'm thrilled as a Bengals fan that the broadcast is going to be even better. But in a very, small way, very proud of Tony because I've watched his career start from day one and watched him blossom and grow and carve out certain niches and deal with certain setbacks. And as good as he is at doing the Cincy 360 show, and he is awesome, let's be honest, he's a football guy. And so a football guy belongs on a football broadcast. And the Cincinnati Bengals are one of 32 NFL broadcasts. So it's pretty elite company that he is joining, and we're stoked for him. And he's going to kill it, and an already great broadcast is going to be made even better. So tomorrow night, pregame at 5:30. We start coverage at 3:05. The game at 7 o'clock. Bengals and Lions on ESPN 1530 with Dan Horde, Dave Lapham, and Tony Pike. We got to talk about Hunter Green in just a bit, but first, let's talk about this event with a guy who I think is in charge of it. Next on ESPN 1530, Cincinnati Sports Station.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Heavy rain continuing to fall. Reduced speeds on the area freeways right now. We do have the accident on 71 southbound after Reading. As we have the delays back to MLK, State Route 129 at Hampshire Drive is a crash. About a 15-minute trip on northbound 75 between Mitchell and Paddock. I'm Rick Schrepp with traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Our American Stories podcast.
This is Lee Habib, host of Our American Stories. On our next episode, we'll explain how a divided room during the American Revolution found unity in a single prayer. You won't want to miss the next episode of Our American Stories.
If you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home. Introducing Loan Pronto's zero-cost equity loan. Mo Egger here. That's right. With Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. One local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 per month. It gets better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, no long drawn-out process, and listen, no closing costs. You may even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. So call Loan Pronto now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com. See how much cash you can get right now. 513-800-1550. That's 513-800-1550. LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Some people just watch fireworks. Others want to feel them. That's why ESPN 1530 and Johnstone Supply, the Grimmy Group, have your shot at front row seats to the 50th Western and Southern WEBN fireworks on Sunday, September 6th. Register now at ESPN1530.com to bask in the boom Labor Day weekend.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. If you want to save Mo money on insurance, stop scrolling, stop procrastinating, stop pretending your cousin Gary's friend can get you a better deal. Now, go with United Heartland Insurance in partnership with Auto Owners. These folks deliver big savings, professional service, and zero nonsense. It's insurance the way it should be. Fast, friendly, and it keeps Mo money in your pocket. Get a quote at UHINS.com. That's UHINS.com and tell them Mo sent you for that Auto Owners hookup.
Ready to order.
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like public works supervisor.
Hey, this waterman is under a ton of pressure. Did you ever fix it?
Yeah, 3 layers of duct tape. Wait, should I have added a 4th layer?
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
WCKY Cincinnati, an iHeart radio station. Guaranteed human. ESPN 1530.
iHeart Radio.
ESPN 1530, Mo Egger broadcasting from the Cincinnati Open. And the weather, I can't see the top of the Eiffel Tower across I-71. That's the sort of dense clouds we're dealing with here. But nonetheless, awesome to be here. The grounds look great. We are set for a terrific 2 weeks of men's and women's tennis at the highest level. Pete Holterman, what is your job title now?
Media director.
Media director.
Or other duties as assigned.
I believe in the last 12 years, this is the 10th time we've been able to broadcast from here. You're always
that
so
sounds
kind.
About right.
Yeah. The one year you guys were in New York for the COVID year.
Yeah.
And then I think there was another year where my schedule just, we didn't make it happen. But I think it's 10 out of 12. It's awesome to be here. Yeah.
It's great to have you out.
Yes.
And, wish there was a little more activity to be showing you today, but glad you're out here nonetheless.
I was able to get some pizza.
Good.
So you fed me, right? And, we're dry, so we're good.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of tennis over the next 10, 12 days. So
Yes.
you need to come back.
Definitely.
You're here early. Now come back often.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's, to me, the cool thing about the expansion of a 2-week event, right? There's multiple opportunities. Whereas it, for me, used to be like, man, it's a week. I got to find time and a little bit more time to pick some time to come.
Yeah, and it's going to be great because yes, we're getting a little backed up here with the weather, but we'll be able to catch up. And by Monday, this will all be in the rearview mirror, and we'll be like smooth sailing, hopefully touching woods here. But I think it's going to be a great couple of weeks of tennis. We still got 300 matches to play. We got a lot of players here who are eager to get on the court now because they haven't struck a tennis ball today.
I described coming here last year as the same but different. So if you last came out here 4 years ago, much of it is the same. Much of it's different.
It's funny because we actually, when we were talking about how to talk about what we were doing, we were really intentional about using the word transformation.
Right.
Because it wasn't just a remodel. It wasn't just a renovation. It was truly transforming it. But at the core, we wanted to keep it what it was. And the key in that is accessible and intimate. And work really hard to maintain that so that you can get close to the practice courts. You have the opportunities to get that jumbo tennis ball signed. Like those are the hallmarks of this event year over year over year that not only do the fans love, but the players love when they come here and they get that energy from all these great fans who are out here. So we definitely wanted to maintain that while needing to expand to accommodate a bigger tennis tournament.
Maybe 4 years ago, I remember broadcasting from here, and I didn't have a great feeling about it. It felt like we might not be doing this. And so to go from then, and that was my sense, and I remember talking with folks, and they were sort of putting a brave face, but I'm like, this event, as we know it, is maybe not going to continue. To go from how I felt 4 or 5 years ago when that was to what's happened now, it's remarkable.
Yeah, it's everybody's responded so positively to it. And, from all our partners on the government side to the business side to just the fans in general. And I think one of the great things is how awesome this event is for the tri-state region.
Yeah.
We had more than half of our attendees last year came from outside this region. I mean, this is great to bring all these people in, and that's why we've created such a park to come and hang out in all day, because if you've driven down from Chicago or flown in from another country, you're going to be here. You're going to be here all day. You're going to watch as much tennis as you can. You're going to go all over the grounds to find that practice session, that third set tiebreak. Where's the best action? That's where I want to be.
I feel like both tours are in a pretty decent place right now.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of excitement about the up-and-coming group. And I think, it's funny to say up-and-coming because they're not here, but Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner are not old men. They're still pretty young. They're looking at 25 ahead of them, not behind them. So there's a huge future. But the next wave, when you talk about Lerner Tien, this young American lefty who's into the semifinals up in Canada, Ben Shelton is so exciting. He's a little bit older, but he's so exciting to watch.
He'll tell you how good he is, too.
You had the chance to talk
I did,
to him, right?
yes.
João Fonseca, Arthur Fees. There's this next wave coming on the men's side. And Rafa Hoda, I got to mention him as well. And then on the women's side, same thing. You got the excitement of an Alex Ayala coming on. And, by the way, Coco Gauff's not exactly up there in age either. So there is a lot of tennis left for these players to play. And it's really exciting to see them as they're emerging. And the future is so bright. It's going to be exciting to see these rivalries develop over the years.
What do players tell you they like most about this event?
Oh, it's hard for them to narrow it down. It's just comfortable. They love the facilities. They love what's happened here. 31 courts. That's unprecedented at an event like this. So you're not struggling to find an opportunity to get on and practice. The food, they rave about the food. And just in general, the hospitality, they love it. And like I said, they do feed off the energy of the great crowds we get out here. Practices, community weekend. We had several thousand people out here on Saturday watching practices or kids getting rackets in their hand, figuring out how to play this sport.
Yeah, you mentioned the practice accessibility, and I say this every year. You can go to a Reds game. You can't stand behind the batting cage and watch Ellie take batting practice. You can't go to a football game and watch Joe Burrow throw passes before the game. You could stand right behind some of the best players in the world and be mere feet away from them as they practice their craft.
And not only on these practice days, but then when they come out to warm up for their matches.
Yeah.
Hey, they're going to play in 3 hours, and you can be right there watching them warm up, figure out what they do, and especially if you're a player.
Yeah.
I swing a tennis racket. I'm not a player, but I can learn a little bit by being around it, seeing what they're doing, and like, oh yeah, you should hit the ball in front of you. I hear that all the time when I take a clinic, but I'm seeing it here, So if you're trying to get better at playing, great opportunity to learn.
Right. What happens to the schedule because of a day like today?
Yeah,
And are you in charge of that?
I am not, thankfully. Thank goodness. Yeah, we've lost some tennis from yesterday.
Yeah,
we had 8 matches. We didn't even get on the court yesterday, and then one was suspended. So we kind of came in today 8.5 matches behind. We're going to try to get as much tennis as we can tonight. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have spectators in at this point. It's just been too long a day and so many different lightning delays and everything. So we hope to play some tennis still, though, and see how close we can get back. If all goes well, maybe we're only a handful of matches behind going into tomorrow. But, yeah, that is the other thing with the longer event is everybody's got some built-in off days. So if we get behind further, we can condense, and maybe you don't have an off day where you might have had an off day, but you're at least, not having to double up. So we have room to play with. And the good thing is, look, these are all professionals, both on the tour organization side and on the playing side.
Right.
We chase summer around the globe. Everywhere we go, it's summer, it's weather. You deal with this. So we've seen this before. The tour's seen this before. They know how to make it work so that it's fair for everybody. No competitive advantage or disadvantage. Give everybody the best chance to come out, play their best tennis, and keep us on schedule, get us back on schedule as soon as we can.
Can't have a weather day like today when we come back to play basketball here in October.
Yeah, that's we are definitely relying on a lot of help to make sure October 7th is the best day ever.
That's going to be awesome, though.
That's going to be so cool. And the fan bases. I mean, what 4 great schools to come in here.
It's going
to
be cool.
Bases. That is going to be such an exciting event. They're actually doing one. So the same group that puts on this tennis tournament owns a tennis tournament in Charleston, South Carolina. They're doing a similar thing at their outdoor tennis venue down there, South Carolina, College of Charleston. We know some people there.
Sure.
They're going to be playing in that one. So cool to get that. I mean, it's just such a unique experience to see basketball outdoors. Indian Wells did it once with the Phoenix Suns in the preseason, and then the New York Liberty once played in Arthur Ashe Stadium at the U.S. Open.
Really?
So, yeah. So
man.
We've seen a few of these outdoor games. The footprint's perfect, right?
Yeah.
That tennis court and the basketball court pretty similar in size. So it's a great opportunity, and absolutely hoping that the weather is dialed in.
3 o'clock in the afternoon is when that's going to start, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
3:30, something like that.
I'm really focused on tennis right now.
I get it.
Ask me August 24th.
I understand. I just the fact that you got people at those 4 schools to agree on the same cause, that's not insignificant.
And the history that those programs all have with each other. I mean, the UC and Ohio State having played for the national championships against each other, and obviously Blackburn, McCafferty, the Xavier UC rivalry is number 1 for the Musketeers, but that Xavier Dayton rivalry is right there.
Yeah.
So huge opportunity for those schools, those fan bases.
You got folks listening to this right now who don't watch tennis, right? But they hear us, they know about the event, they've thought it might be cool to visit, but they haven't checked it out. Outline what a day at this event for them should look like.
I think the key thing to know is you're not going to come and sit in that one chair for the 2-3 hours and then get up and leave.
Right.
You're going to be able to go all around this campus. We've got 13 restaurants that we're looking at from our vantage point here. We got 3 food trucks around the venue. There are all those practices. We're going to play matches on 10 courts. That's 21 courts of practices.
Yeah.
So you can get up, go around, move around all day, check out so many different things. We got a great retail shop over here with all kinds of beautiful merchandise. There's just a ton to do. Take the kids out, let them try some kids' activities, some speed serve. And I think as far as the competition, no sport, I think, is really done justice on television.
Yeah.
But tennis, the power, the movement, the spin of the ball, the way it's bouncing and moving, the way the athletes are getting side to side, how quick they're moving, that sneaker squeak, it's incredible. And it really is something when you see it in person. And as we were talking, you can see that up close here.
It's interesting. I was watching the Netflix doc on Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert and their rivalry. I watched it this weekend. It's beautifully done. But there's a lot of footage of them playing against each other in the 70s and early 80s. And those are marvelous. Those are legends in the sport. But I'm watching it going, as graceful and as fast as Chris Evert was, the players now, just in terms of the amount of ground they cover and the power that they're hitting with, it's night and day.
Yeah, the game has changed so much. And we were talking a little bit about it. Stadium 3 over here, we just renamed for Tony Trabert. Great great player and gentleman from Cincinnati, grew up in Bond Hill, and went on to be number one, be one of the greatest players. 1955 season was incredible.
Right.
He won 3 Grand Slams in that season. He, I think, played 113 singles matches. He won 18 titles in one season.
1 year, yeah.
Like, nobody's playing 100
Right.
matches in a season now. It's just impossible. And that's because of the physicality. Some of that's the racket technology, the way these athletes now are training. Was talking earlier with Tony and Austin, the recovery to play one day, come back, play the next day. There's just so much that goes into it to really be able to maintain that level of physicality. And it's amazing when you get some matches where there's bruising. I mean, Shelton's won it. You get out there, like, that's a physical match.
Yeah.
And that is, it's not serve and volley is very much on a death's door here. We're not seeing a lot of that because it's just too hard coming back at you too fast.
You're always so hospitable to us, and can't thank you enough. Love coming out here, and let's do it again next year.
Yeah, and let's hope you get back out here to watch a little tennis.
I will.
Time,
that's the plan. Yeah.
We're going to have a ton of tennis. We have so much tennis to come. We have so many great players. Serena and Venus Williams never played doubles here before. They're going to do it this year. Yeah. They've won 14 Grand Slams together, but they never teamed up here. We've seen them both in singles. Serena's won the singles title a couple times, but this will be the first time they're playing doubles here, so that'll come up probably sometime over the weekend, maybe Monday, but we're looking forward to that one. Djokovic is getting into town. We got a lot of great players still. Coco Gauff's playing.
My favorite player is Madison Keys.
Maddie Keys. Excellent.
Yeah.
Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched her in major events get hurt, slip. Like, if it could go wrong, it did. And then she won Australia, and I was so happy. And I was like, the last time I think she had to retire might have been Wimbledon. It was U.S. Open the year before, and it's like, I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
She came back and won a major, and just the gracefulness that she handled herself with, I'm a fan. So
she's awesome, and
I'm here to watch her.
It was cool because it was a well-received win in the locker room. When you saw the social media responses, of like, way to go, Matt.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. You love to see that.
You could tell that somebody's beloved in their sport. That like all the players, men and women, were like so stoked for it. It had been such a long, hard road, and so I've never seen her play in person.
All right,
so we're going to change that.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Very
I will
good.
make sure to text you as soon as we get the schedule, and we'll reserve you a seat.
There you go. Thanks as always. Awesome to have
Thank
you
you.
stop by, and great to be here. And it stopped raining, so I could see the top of the Eiffel Tower.
It's clearing,
moving in the right direction.
We're hoping. Fingers are crossed. Tomorrow, hopefully a lot better. Hope to see a lot of people out here. We should have some first-round matches going alongside some qualifying matches.
By the
So
way,
it
you
should
got
be
to
a busy
tell
day.
people to come up here too, because this is cool.
Oh, the top deck. We're tucked under the east side of the stadium. We're overlooking the commons with the food, all of the restaurants that are out here. There's a Dobell activation, Rheingeist up here.
Yeah.
So you've got some great spots to hang out. There's table tennis around the corner.
Right.
601. You want?
Okay.
I'll take you on.
I haven't played. We call it ping pong, right?
Well, fair.
We haven't played. I haven't played table tennis in a few decades, so
I get a
it would
bonus.
be a one-sided.
I get a bonus every time I say tennis, so that's why I
I
say
get
table
it.
tennis. Yeah.
I got it. Okay, very good. Pete, thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate
We're
you coming.
broadcasting from the Cincinnati Open. It's 25 from 6 o'clock. Sports headlines are next on ESPN 1530 Cincinnati Sports Station.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. Accident 71 north of Fort Washington Way. We have 275 eastbound before Hamilton. Crash on the shoulder. Three Rivers Parkway, Germany Lane. Accident has police getting that cleaned up in 71 south after Reading. Crash has 2 right lanes blocked. I'm Rick Schremp with traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Our American Stories podcast.
This is Lee Habib, host of Our American Stories. On our next episode, we'll share the story of the eccentric inventor who changed how Americans ate, Clarence Birdseye. You won't want to miss the next episode of Our American Stories.
If you run a business and need to get your message to your next customers fast, nothing is faster than audio with iHeart. Let us help you reach the audience you need to grow your business at the speed of sound at iHeartAdvertising.com.
I'm not exactly great with apologies. After our last argument, I tried saying I'm sorry about 10 different ways, and none of them worked. So I went to Smile Tunes instead. I turned our story into a soulful love song that admitted she was right. Mostly. By the second chorus, she was laughing. By the end of the song, we were ordering takeout together. Turns out a custom song says what I couldn't. Visit smiletunes.com and create a personalized song that gets you out of the doghouse in style.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special, both for you and your partner. At Tri-State Men's Health, we are the leader in treating ED in the area. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
Hey, it's Mo Egger. FanDuel is giving new customers up to $1,000 in bet resets. Here's how it works. Bet $5 daily and unlock $200 in bet resets every day. That's right. New customers can place a $5 bet each day and receive up to $200 in bet resets, up to $1,000 total. And with baseball on every day, there's always another game or another matchup and another chance to get in on the action. So whether you're betting money lines, player props, or same-game parlays, FanDuel's got you covered. Place your $5 bet and unlock up to $1,000 in bet resets. Just go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel, your home for home runs. 21 plus and present in Ohio. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Minimum $5 wager required for 5 consecutive days. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bet reset tokens. Refund from token issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $200 per day. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Touchdown! Bengals! It's the first game of the preseason, and the Bengals are looking to start fast. To do it, they need to defeat Detroit. Can the Orange and Black tame the Lions? Get the call live from Dan Horde and Dave Lapham. Coverage begins tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Stream for free on the new and improved iHeartRadio app or ESPN 1530, the official home of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Sports headlines are a service of Kelsey Chevrolet, home of lifetime powertrain protection and guaranteed credit approval from their family to yours for life. KelseyChev.com. Off day for the Bengals before tomorrow night's preseason opener against the Detroit Lions, a game you'll hear live on ESPN 1530 with Dan Horde and Dave Lapham and Tony Pike. Bengals announced today they have added Tony to their radio broadcast crew for the upcoming season. Also adding responsibilities to Joe Daneman's Bengals coverage, including he'll be co-hosting Bengals Pep Rally 3 to 6 Fridays on ESPN 1530. That's the day of the week during the football season when the 3 to 6 show is at its best, the day that I'm not on. Meanwhile, the Reds are in Chicago tonight because they played there last night, and they play there tomorrow, so it stands to reason they'll play a baseball game this evening. Rhett Lauder and Luis Castillo on the bump. 7:40 tonight's first pitch on 700 WLW. Your Reds starting lineup tonight. Ellie De La Cruz at short. Sal Stewart DHs. J.J. Bleday in left field. Eugenio Suarez who hit a meatball for a home run that made it 4-1 last night. He is batting cleanup and playing third. Michael Tolley is at first. Hector Rodriguez is in right field batting sixth. Trevino catches. Friedel plays center. Matt McClain plays second base and bats ninth. Reds are entered today 5.5 games out of the last wild card spot. But they've had some favorite. Cincinnati in the wild card hunt is currently, you could tell I'm looking this up, right? I'm not fooling anybody. The Phillies lost today, so the Reds gain a half game on them. Arizona's trailing the Rockies 6-2. That game is headed to the top of the seventh inning with Colorado getting set to come to the plate. The Reds are also 5.5 behind the San Diego Padres. And they're playing the Brewers this afternoon. They trail that ball game 2-1, headed to the top of the sixth inning in San Diego. Lots of daytime action happening today. Florence will host Lake Erie tonight, weather permitting. Hamilton West Side All-Stars take on Kentucky's North Oldham in the Great Lakes Region Championship game. Winner advances to the Little League World Series. And the Cincinnati Open, they're going to try to squeeze some tennis in tonight, but nobody's allowed to see it because of the inclement weather. Hopefully that changes for tomorrow. 17 away from 6 o'clock. We have, on this show, because there's been a lot going on, we haven't had a ton of time to talk about Hunter Green's surgery, his injuries, scheduled to have surgery today. I've not seen a release suggesting it was successful. Hopefully it was. You can't make plans for the Reds right now that involve Hunter Green. You can't. I mean, and so that may change or impact how you view Andrew Abbott, what to do with him, Nick Lodolo, what to do with him, what they do with Brady Singer, how they approach pitching in the free agency market. Like, I hate to say this because injuries are not a character flaw, but you cannot plan on Hunter Green being a part of your team next year. I don't know that you could plan on Hunter Green being a part of your team at any point in the coming years because he is always hurt. It sucks. It stinks for Hunter. It stinks for the Reds. What shouldn't happen here, though, is that you worry about incurring some risk with some of these other guys because of what happened to Hunter Green. Because I've seen it suggested, waste of money, never should have paid him, never should have signed him, never should have given him the contract that he's working under right now. Like, unfortunately, it's baseball. Unfortunately, it's pitching. You make investments. You try to invest in the right guys. I'm always going to bet on talent, and sometimes it's going to work. Hopefully it works with Chase Burns. It hasn't entirely worked with Hunter Green. You cannot allow that to keep you from taking on some degree of risk when it comes to the guys who are worth taking risks on financially, like Sal Stewart. Look, the reality is this. We've talked about this with Sal Stewart, Chase Burns. The ship has probably sailed as it relates to Ellie De La Cruz. If the Reds are ever going to keep their own guys beyond those first 6 years, they're going to have to lock into them early. And if they're ever going to have payroll flexibility under the current set of rules, they're going to have their best guys cost control. Cost control matters for every franchise. It really matters for the ones that are operating with a smaller budget. Now, you might want to argue the Reds have more money to spend than they actually spend. That's a different conversation. Unfortunately, there's risk involved. You're just never going to sign one of your own guys. You're just never going to invest in them. You're just never going to buy out arbitration years. You're just never going to try to keep them. You're just never going to try to get your best guys under cost control because Hunter Green got hurt. That strikes me as awfully short-sighted. You know who's not short-sighted? Tony Pike. We're going to talk about a quarterback and tomorrow night's preseason game, but it's not Joe Burrow. Next on ESPN 1530.
Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. Traffic.
From the UC Health Traffic Center, don't wait for answers for a cancer diagnosis at the UC Cancer Center Rapid Diagnostic Clinic. You could be seen within 2 days. Call 585-UCCC. 71 traffic at Fort Washington Way, slow center lane blocked with an accident. 71 south of Reading, crash here with delays back to Dana. 275 eastbound before Hamilton, crash on the shoulder. Three Rivers Parkway, Germany Lane, accident. Crash on the shoulder, 75 north approaching Sharon. And 471 north at 275 in Kentucky, accident on the right shoulder. I'm Rick Shrimp with traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Our American Stories podcast.
This is Lee Habib.
Cause in our community. Please support this great cause and register today at sharefax.org and search golf outing. That's sharefax.org and search golf outing for all the details.
From the ESPN 1530 studio, built on the financial foundation of Omega Wealth Private Capital, where wise money matters.
From the Braun Heating Temp Star Weather Center, here's your forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Hey, Alexa, who got cut?
Getting ESPN 1530 from iHeartRadio.
ESPN 1530 with the latest from Bengals training camp. Brought to you by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time on your official home of the Cincinnati Bengals. ESPN 1530.
One more check-in with Tony Pike. Live training camp reports, even though there is absolutely no training camp today. Bengals and Lions tomorrow night. We've talked a lot about Joe Burrow, his participation in the preseason, the pros, the cons of it, all the other starters. Here's my question for you. Does Joe Flacco have to play in these games?
Man, I don't think he needs to, and I don't think he would want to. I think Joe Flacco is perfectly fine where he's at. Like, there gets to be a point in your career, I feel like you kind of check the boxes. Like, this guy's been a Super Bowl MVP. He's been at the highest level of the game. He performed great last year. I don't think at this stage in his career, Joe Flacco gets much out of preseason games anymore. I get if you want to get him in the huddle and get into the line of scrimmage and to see some things live, maybe a series, maybe two max, but I can assure you, Joe Burrow openly wants to play in the preseason. I don't think Joe Flacco would echo that. I think he's good on preseason snaps.
I also think you can make the argument that he's the best backup quarterback in the NFL. And others would have something to say about that. But, all right, Burrow, you're trying to work out timing. I don't know that I want to talk about the 2026 season without the best insurance policy arguably in the NFL and Joe Flacco.
Yeah, and measuring a backup quarterback is so much more than just what they can come in if needed and do. I mean, think about what Joe Burrow has had since he's been a Cincinnati Bengal. And I'm not talking about on the field. I'm talking about off the field, in the meeting room, things like that. And I'm not just trying to knock former guys that have been here, but there hasn't been a ton of experience, especially game experience, in that quarterback room outside of Joe Burrow. Now, the wealth of knowledge he can gain on a practice field, on the sideline during the game, in the film room, that to me makes Joe Flacco even more valuable than what he is on the field. And he is valuable on the field. But for a team that is loaded at skill players, if you've got to turn to Joe Flacco, you feel comfortable that you can still operate at a high level. But it's to me what he brings to the Bengals and to Joe Burrow off the field that is extremely, extremely valuable.
That's our guy, Tony Pike, who will be on the call tomorrow night with Dan Hort and Dave Lapham. Bengals and Lions. Pre-game coverage starts with our show at 3:05. Countdown to kickoff at 5:30. And the game, 7 o'clock, from the venue, originally known as Paul Brown Stadium, on ESPN 1530. That is going to finish our show. Less than ideal circumstances to do a show from an event when the event doesn't happen, but that's nobody except Mother Nature's fault. So we thank the folks here at the Cincinnati Open for their hospitality, for them inviting us to do our show from here. I want to send a special shout out to our guy, Mike Mills, the greatest broadcast engineer in the world, for holding it down today for 6 hours between Cincy 360 and our show. And, of course, Taryn Bland back in Kenwood. Tomorrow, this show will emanate from the broadcast booth at Paycor Stadium. Have to say it by its proper name. They're letting me do my show from in there. So looking forward to that. We'll set the stage for the first preseason game tomorrow. We are looking forward to that. Between now and then, have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3:05. This is ESPN 1530, Cincinnati Sports Station.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure?